Sie eine Zigarette? Möchten Sie eine Zigarette?
Wie geht es, Karl?
Wie geht es, Karl?
Und was macht dein Bein?
Ich gehe sehr gut, danke.
We'll give you the answers.
Another game?
I must get back.
Feeble excuse.
Honestly. Look, I've got Tony and the girls to think of. They'll be murdered if I leave them much longer.
All right, I'll make a bargain with you. One quick game, and I'll help you put them to bed. The kids, that is, not Tony.
Bribery. Where'd you get the energy from?
I've had a long, boring day stuck behind a desk.
You?
It's true. I need the action.
As long as you take the blame.
Don't worry, I'm used to that. Right, you ready?
Auf Wiedersehen, Hans.
Guten Tag and auf Wiedersehen, both of you.
That is the end of the second part in the series, German for Beginners. This program will be repeated next Thursday evening.
Hola, bienvenidos a Por Aquí.
Programa número 5.
This week we're dealing with two important topics, the time and the weather.
And we'll be hearing from the people who are out in all weathers and who are confiables de sangue. A postman and a fisherman. Un cartero y un pescador.
But first, let's go back to last week's program, which also had a lot to do with time and arranging when to meet people.
So how would you ask someone when to ¿Cuándo nos podemos ver?
Thank goodness you came along. We could have been here all day. It's like the middle of nowhere here.
His house is not 200 yards away.
Well, I didn't know. I've never been here before, have I? I never want to come here again either, believe me. The driver. Look, the driver is moving.
And from 3:30...
Sally.
until 5...
What? Look, we need to get the police and an ambulance. Where are those houses that you said there were?
Desde las 3:30 hasta...
I am the police.
Why didn't you say so?
You'll be fine. Slight concussion, that's all. You were lucky. You probably have a splitting headache in the morning, but it'll soon wear off.
How's the girl?
Come in.
Finish it.
Just about. I was saying, he's been extremely lucky.
Yeah, I'll see. I want to know how the girl is.
You mustn't worry about anything just for now.
What do you mean, just for now? When do I start worrying then?
You've had a very nasty shock. It's vital you get some sleep.
Is she dead then? What's happened?
She's not dead now. No thanks to you. But she's in a pretty bad way.
Thank you, Sergeant.
She's got to know sometime.
Oh. So you're a qualified doctor, are you?
I've seen her. You don't need to be a doctor to see the state she's in.
How bad is she? Tell me.
We can't see.
Why not? Look, I've got her right.
Oh, you ought to be in bed. I'll get a nurse to
No,
take
I'm going home. I'm not staying
Just
here.
overnight, in case there are any complications.
Hey, I'm the one who's all right, remember? There's nothing the matter with me. I want to know how she is.
We don't know anything for sure yet. It's too early to say.
And you expect me to sleep?
You've got to try.
How can I if you don't tell me what's happened?
Look, I'll take him home. It's on my way.
I prefer to walk.
That's out of the question. If you insist on going home, you'll go in an ambulance.
Come on, it's only about a mile.
Don't be heroic, Kate. It's a bit late for that.
You're in no fit state to walk anywhere. I'll get you an ambulance.
I've said I'll take him. It's on my way.
It's up to you.
Better than wasting taxpayers' money, I suppose.
Sergeant, I must repeat, he needs rest and quiet.
Of course.
That means no questions. Not till I or somebody else have seen him in the morning. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand that. Perfectly.
Well, why wasn't I told earlier, George? I'm sorry. It's not your fault. I'll just have to yell at whoever it is you yell at here. So, how serious is it?
Well, the girl's still unconscious, Mum. Seems the lorry hit her head on. Traffic are on the scene. They're dealing with the vehicle now.
Right. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Oh, and George, Paul's going to talk to the parents.
Here's Mrs. Walsh in, sir. I'd like to talk to you both, if possible.
Fortunately, she's not been in for the past 5 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. She is...
Oh, yes, hale and hearty. Not half a mile away. We meet every week or so to hurl recriminations at each other, just so we don't forget how fortunate we are not to be living together anymore. It's about my daughter, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Something's happened to her.
Is her name Sally Walsh, sir?
It is, yes.
I'm afraid she's been knocked down about an hour ago on Mount Hill Rise. She was hit by a lorry. We don't know the details yet.
Is she alive?
Yes, she is, but she's been badly hurt. She's at the cottage hospital. You can go and see her, of course, but I just felt I ought to warn you.
Well, would you like a cup of tea, Sergeant? I'm sorry, it's very rude of me not offering.
Well, let me get it.
No, it won't take a minute. I wouldn't dream of it. It's already brewing. We always have a cup of tea when she comes back from her mother.
You were expecting her back then, sir?
Oh, yes, any minute. It must have happened while she was on her way. Won't you rise?
Yeah. Look, why don't you sit down?
What's she doing up there?
So what happened? What?
I asked you what happened.
I don't know. I told you.
Oh, it's up to you. Don't think we're going to leave it like that, though. We'll be round tomorrow.
I don't know what happened.
You usually drive with your eyes shut, do you?
Can't remember.
Well, we'll just keep coming round till you do remember.
It's like she just came out of nowhere. I was driving along. And there she was. Smashed. There was nothing I could do.
Long day, was it?
No. No longer than most.
What did? Something catch your eye, did it? Some tart you fancied?
Up there. Anyway, I don't go around looking at tarts. I'm happily married.
Well, we're all happily married. I'm as happily married as the next man. Doesn't stop your eye roving a bit, though, does it? No harm in that.
Speak for yourself.
Thought I was speaking for you.
You can stop here.
This isn't where you live.
It's near enough.
Oh, come up.
No, you won't.
All right, then, I won't. Don't make any difference to me. We've got your address. I'll be around tomorrow.
I bet you will.
Hey, don't lie in. We'll be round early.
They put her in intensive care, Mum. She's got serious head injuries and she's having difficulty with her breathing.
That doesn't sound good.
No, Danny Sparks is talking to the car driver. It's the nearest thing we got to a witness.
And the lorry driver?
Well, Bernie Duckworth was first on the scene. He went with him to the hospital.
That was good of him.
They think he's got mild concussion and shock, that's all.
Always the same, isn't it? The poor pedestrian suffers and the driver gets off scot-free. Had he been drinking?
No mention of it, no.
Just didn't see it coming. Marvellous.
Well, it is on a sharp bend, Mum, and there's no pavement.
There's such a thing as careful driving, George. Very useful, especially when you're a lorry driver.
Yes, but we don't know it was his fault yet, Mum.
Right. You're quite right. Mustn't prejudge the issue. Thank you for putting me in my place.
Oh, wouldn't do that.
Must be because I lost the second game. It always puts me in a filthy mood.
I know how you feel. I'm like that with snooker.
Come in.
Message from Sergeant Beck, Ma'am, about this girl.
What about it?
He's asking if someone could go and see the mother.
Well, he's already gone. He went hours ago.
Aye, but he's only seen the father. Apparently they don't live together.
I see.
The girl lives with her dad, and Sergeant Beck doesn't feel he ought to leave him, not just yet.
Let's have her address then. Thank you, Brian.
Right.
This friend I was playing with tonight, George. Well, she's not so much a friend, more a sparring partner, really. She's always saying what an exciting life I lead. Chasing villains, making decisions, seeing life in the raw, while she's stuck at home all day looking after her kids. She's really envious. I don't know. There's some things I can never get used to. Do you find that, George?
Girl's still alive, Mum. Could be worse.
You're right, of course. We're going to have to do something about this. I really think we are.
About what?
This habit of yours of always being right.
That's what comes of being on the force 100 years. Gets so you can't help it.
Right, sir. You'd sign the bottom of each page and at the end.
Oh, yes. Yes, I like that. Very succinct. Very precisely put.
It is what you said, sir.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Can I go now?
Yes, of course. We'll be in touch with you if you need it.
What about?
If we need you as a witness.
Oh, yes, yes, but I hardly saw anything. It had all happened by the time I arrived.
All the same, sir.
Of course, anything I can do. Would you mind if I asked a favour?
I shouldn't think so.
Well, I don't know if it's possible, but if you could send anything, any correspondence to my office address, not my home. That's my card. Oh, sorry. It's my mother.
Your mother, sir?
She gets so worried, you see. She's always thinking something terrible's going to happen to me.
It very nearly did.
Don't. But that's exactly it. If she knew anything about any of this, I'd never hear the end of it.
I'm sure we can work something out.
Oh, and can I ask just one more small favour?
Yes, sir.
Can I telephone her? In private, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course.
You see, I might be forced to tell a few white lies. I don't want to lose credibility in your eyes.
Why didn't you go to bed?
That's what they said in the hospital.
Well, watch the television then. Look, there's no point just sitting here, love. It's not your fault. You did say it's not your fault.
You sound as if you don't believe me either.
Of course I do.
Yeah, well, they don't. They know it was my fault.
How can they know something if it's not true? That's rubbish. Anyway, it's just one policeman. That's all you're talking about.
At the moment.
Good heavens, love. This is Hartley, not London.
You mean you've never heard of closing ranks? Because that's what they'll do. It's what they all do in this country. Not just the police, everyone. It's how they protect their positions. And that's why I want to get out of it.
Oh, stop it, Mike. That poor girl's lying in hospital not a mile away. She's nearly dying, and all you can do is make speeches.
A girl who I killed. Isn't that what you mean? Well, go on, say it! I can see it in your face.
Stop putting words in me mouth.
You're not quite sure, though, are you? In the back of your mind there, nagging away.
Stop it, Mike. Of course I'm sure. Anyway, she's not dead, so don't talk like that.
Why not? How do you think they'll talk? Long-distance lorry driver. Everybody knows what they're like, working all hours, falling asleep at the wheel.
But you didn't fall asleep at the wheel.
That's right. I didn't. Do you know what it feels like, though? Thinking you might have killed someone. Can you imagine that? How'd you live with that on your conscience? That's what I want to know.
But you didn't, my love. We both know that. And that's the main thing. Well, did you?
What's around, is she, George?
Sorry, no.
What urgent call on her time is it now, then? Weightlifting, yoga, or one-arm wrestling?
Hell, now. As a matter of fact, she's going to see the mother of that girl you found.
Oh, she has she? Well, that's good. That's what I want to see her about. I'll wait.
Up to you.
That's right.
Funny, I thought you had an office somewhere.
Whatever gave you that idea?
I don't think I'm trying to drive you away.
Hasn't crossed me mind, George.
There. Now, I'm all yours, Bernie.
Flattered, George.
Shall I tell you about my anaglypta?
That you what?
Anaglypta. Stuff you put on the walls to stop the cracks showing. Just trying to while away the time, that's all. She'd probably be ages yet, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm in no hurry.
I was thinking about you. I was thinking about your wife. Why don't you get home, give her a treat?
Perhaps that's why I stop out, eh?
The hours you lot keep.
What?
I pity her. I said I pity your wife.
That's funny.
Why?
Thanks to you.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologise.
Oh, we had such a nice day. Nothing special, but it was really nice.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? Better than having a rotten one, surely.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose so. I'd like to go and see her, please.
I'll take you.
No, I'm all right.
Don't be silly. I'll take you.
Will Peter be there, do you think?
Your husband? I don't know. Why? Don't you want him to be?
No. I'd like him to be. I'd like him to be there with me.
Well, why don't you give him a ring? That's the easiest way to find out.
No, he'd only get angry.
I'm sure he wouldn't.
Oh, you don't know Peter, he would. He'd say I only want him when I need something. And it's true, I do. Oh, I'm pathetic.
But this is your daughter. That's rather different, surely. Shall I ring him for you? Is that what you want?
No. No, I don't want anything from him. It's stupid of me. We've been apart for 5 years. I've no right to make demands on him. He was always saying how awful I was to him while we were together. I was. Best thing he ever did was get rid of me.
Was it the best thing you ever did? Moving out?
Look, what are you, a marriage guidance counsellor or something? I don't need help. I don't need advice. That's the last thing I need. Oh, I'm sorry. You've been very kind.
Are you sure you're ready to go to the hospital? Just let it all come out, okay?
I think you let me win.
You reckon? How about best of 3, then?
No, thanks. I've taken up enough of your time. I think I'd like to go to the hospital now.
I was awful to them, to both of them. And now this has happened. I think it must be to punish me.
Of course it's not.
It's true. If we'd stayed together, if we hadn't separated, well, she wouldn't have been going back to her dad, would she? She'd have already been at home, and none of this would have happened. She'd have been safely at home with both of us.
You can't afford to think like that. Could have happened anyway. You know it could. It's not your fault.
Are you married?
No.
Any children?
No.
How come?
The man I wanted to marry had second thoughts. Probably very rightly.
You don't mean that.
Don't I? No, perhaps I don't.
Isn't it difficult for you in your job? I mean with men.
Do you mean men or men friends?
I mean finding one who doesn't resent you having to spend Sunday evenings with the likes of me instead of...
Instead of watching the telly with them? Yes, well, it does present certain problems. Well, in my experience. Perhaps I've just been unlucky.
Or perhaps you've been lucky.
Maybe. Anyway, I'm certainly not complaining. Far from it. There are other things in life, you know. All sorts of things like work, friends.
Yeah, I know. I keep telling myself that, only I never quite believe it.
Why aren't you still with your husband, then? Sorry.
No. I got married when I was 18. I had to. First year at college. My history tutor got me pregnant.
Is that it?
Peter, yeah. He was 10 years older than me. Seemed so mature, knew everything. I thought I was deeply in love. I didn't even mind packing up my course. All I wanted to be was the perfect wife and mother, you know, like you see in the adverts. I'd nurse my genius of a husband and his children and live happily ever after.
Then you discovered he wasn't a genius, just ordinary like the rest of us.
That's right. Boringly predictable, isn't it?
No, it's not boring. Just a bit sad, that's all.
Yeah. So I felt trapped and stifled. You name it, and I felt it.
So you ran off into the night in search of freedom and irresponsibility.
Something like that. And ended up personal secretary to a lecherous old drunk who makes soft toys and lampshades. A right little morality tale, isn't it? And the consequence is, I mucked it all up for me and everyone else.
Perhaps you were too young. Happens all the time.
But I'm not now. I'm nearly 35 and I'm still mucking it up. And not just for Peter and Sally either. I'm doing it to other people now. Let's face it, I'm a walking disaster area.
What are you talking about? Who are you doing what to?
Oh, I must go and see Sally.
Look, they'll let me know if there's any news.
All the same, I can't stop here moaning while she's lying there in hospital.
Is there anyone you'd like me to call for you? Any close friends, you know? Anyone you'd like to come with you?
The bloke in my life, you mean?
No, I don't mean anything. I'm just asking.
No. No, thanks. There's nobody could be any help now.
She's not. I see. Not at all. Thanks.
Not at all what? What did they say, Mike?
I'm coming to bed, all right?
Hello?
I'm sorry, Peter.
It's not your fault.
No, I mean...
She may be all right. They say it's possible. If she gets through tonight, they're quite optimistic. Well, that's what they told me, anyway.
What are you saying, Bernie?
I'm just saying he's lucky the doctor was soft.
How do you mean, soft?
Well, if I'd had my way, he'd been down here like a dose of salt, so I'd have got the truth out of him hours ago.
Really?
Yeah, really.
The truth being...
But he's to blame, it's obvious.
I assume you'd have questioned him first before leaping to that conclusion.
Of course I'd have questioned him.
That's a relief.
Look, I'm just saying there's no doubt in my mind, that's all.
Copper's nose, you mean?
Yeah, if you like.
Rather an unscientific instrument, I've always thought.
Look, it's open and shut. We've both seen hundreds of them. He was tired and he wasn't concentrating.
You know this for a fact. You could stand up in court and swear to it.
I was there. I've seen him. I've spoken to him.
Did you caution him first?
I was giving him a lift home. It was more of a chat.
Did you caution him?
No, I didn't. He'd been driving for hours. You could see it in his eyes.
I believe he was concussed, which would account for the glazed look in his eyes. Thank you for your thoughts, Bernie. I'll bear them in mind.
They're more than thoughts.
Not without corroborative evidence, they're not. What have you got? Ask yourself that. You got an empty road on a Sunday evening and one witness who didn't see a blind thing. What's the matter with you?
He'll admit it. That's all I'm saying. I'm convinced of it.
Ah, that's fine, if he does.
Well, I'll go round first thing.
You must be joking.
Why?
Well, for one thing, it's not a CID matter.
Well, I'd prefer it if you left this one.
I know what you prefer, Sergeant. What's the matter with you? You're an experienced copper, yet you come in here like some kid with a grudge. What was it you didn't like about him? The colour of his eyes? Was he rude to you? I don't even know why we're talking like this. It's ridiculous.
I saw that girl lying there.
I know. It's terrible, dreadful. But you've seen it before, and you see it again. And worse. There's something else, isn't there? I want to know what it is.
There's nothing.
I don't believe you, Bernie. What is it? All right, I can't force you. But I'm here if you want to talk to me. If there's anything you want to say, any time. You know that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And you're not to touch this case. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Go home now. It's late. We're both tired.
All right, ma'am.
Night.
You think it might not have been an accident after all?
Well, having met the mother, let's face it, it's not an ideal setup, is it? Living with a dad with an erotic mum harbouring round the corner. Perhaps Sally did have something on her mind.
Perhaps the driver did too.
Yes, well, who's to say? Might have been a mixture of both. Might very well have been. I just want to be sure, that's all. Just want to get to the bottom of it.
There was one thing that was a bit odd.
About Walsh?
Yeah. Mind you, I didn't give it a second thought at the time.
Go on.
It was something he said himself. If she was on her way back from her mum's, he said, and she was going straight home, what was she doing up Mount Hill Rise? It's half a mile away.
So, what's up there, Joe?
Oh, not a lot. The road itself's pretty quiet, no houses, but it leads to the Holbury estate.
And the streets of houses on either side?
That's it, yeah.
It's useless. It's too late even to think straight. Thanks, Joe. That should all make sense in the morning.
You should be getting to bed if you don't mind me saying so, no?
You're right. Oh, Joe, one more thing. Bernie Duckworth.
What about it?
No problems there, are there? None you've noticed?
Can't say I have, no.
Keep an eye out, will you? A friendly eye. There's something up there, all right. Just hope it's nothing serious.
How's Sally?
Get out.
I want to know how Sally's of a right to know.
Get out.
All right, I'll find out myself.
All right, I'll tell her. How dare you come here?
Why, did I spoil your little reunion? Oh, God, you're pathetic.
Don't you talk to me like that.
Why, what are you going to do about it?
Why don't you leave us alone, all of us?
You've done nothing but harm. You've brought nothing but
You know,
misery.
if it weren't for Pet, I'd smash your face. You ought to thank her for that.
Shall I tell you something?
I don't want to hear anything from you except how Sally is now. You're going to tell me.
Up until today, I thought all policemen were scum. But I was wrong, because I was basing it all on you. I met one today who was a human being. Actually seemed to care.
Oh, I care. About Pat and Sally, but not about you, because you're rubbish.
What about your own wife and family? What would you do if one of them was dying? Go off and spend the night with my wife, would you? Just to take your mind off it. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Don't! Bernie, don't!
Stop it! I want to show what sort of man
Right, see, Gus!
Oh, both of you, stop it!
What on earth is going on here? Who are you?
Get out of here. It's nothing to do with you.
You get out of my hospital.
Go on, do as she says,
I
Bernie.
want to know how Sally Walsh is.
Who is this man?
He's, very upset, that's all.
Mrs. Walsh, your daughter is still in a critical condition. However upset this man
I'll tell you who he
Please
is.
don't do anything. I'll take complete responsibility. Get out before you make it any worse.
You come with me.
How can I?
You can't stay with him.
So you came to see Sally, did you? That's why you came, was it?
I'm going to fetch the police.
He is the police! He's the police! He's going to take my wife away! A good joke, isn't it? A really good joke.
Pat, don't.
Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. I wouldn't leave you now, would I? Not like this. I wouldn't leave either of you.
Don't you see what he's doing? It's what he's always done.
Excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Walsh.
Yes.
Could I have a word?
What is it?
In private, please. What's happened to her? Your daughter is responding well. She even regained consciousness just for a moment, but she did.
Oh, that's marvellous.
Well, what else is there?
I really must talk to you on your own.
Hello? Joe? Yes, well, it had better be. What? Oh, no. No, I don't believe it. The fool! Yes, of course, I'll be there right away. I want you there, too.
He seduced my daughter.
Don't listen to him, he's mad.
My daughter's had a miscarriage. How else do you think it happened? He's an animal, and I want him apprehended. I want him put in prison, and I want the key thrown away because he's a danger to every decent man and woman.
This is a very serious allegation, Mr. Walsh.
It's a serious crime. First, he takes my wife from me.
He did not.
He takes my daughter. Why does he hate me so much? What have I done to him?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Peter. Sally's going to be all right. That's all that matters, isn't it?
I disagree. So what are you going to do about it? Why aren't you out there looking for him?
Did he say where he was going?
Of course he didn't. He just ran off, didn't he? Like the coward he is.
Oh, it wasn't like that at all.
What was it like, in your version?
Listen to her.
Please, Mr. Walsh. Go on.
The doctor told us that Sally was having a miscarriage. He'd already asked Bernie, Sergeant Duckworth, if he'd mind leaving the room while he spoke to us. But I suppose Bernie must have overheard all the same, because when I went out, he said he was going to fix him.
Fix who?
He didn't say. He just said that, and then he left.
She's making it up, can't you see?
I'm not.
She'd do anything to save his skin. How can you, after all this?
I want to speak to you. On your own, please.
I'd like to be there too.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I insist.
Listen, Mr. Walsh. Like I said, you've made a serious allegation against one of my officers. I realise you're in distress, and I'm taking that into account. But I'm not yet satisfied that what you say holds water. I just want to find Sergeant Duckworth, and I want to find out the truth.
Do you? Do you really?
Oh, yes, I do. And I will. Believe me, I will. But until I do, I suggest you try to help us rather than hinder us. So, if you wouldn't mind going down to the station with Sergeant Beck, I shall want to see you later. All right, Sergeant?
All right, ma'am.
All right.
Do you know where he is?
If I did, don't you think I'd tell you?
I don't know. You didn't tell me you knew him last night.
That was different.
Why?
There was no reason. It got nothing to do with it.
It would have been a great help. It would have explained an awful lot.
And it would have got him in trouble. Is that what you want me to do? I love him. Do you know what that means? It means I don't want him hurt. I'd do anything to stop him being hurt.
Well, I'm afraid he's going to be hurt now, whatever happens.
Oh, you mean you've made up your mind, do you? You believe Peter? What sort of people are you, saying one thing and meaning another? Can't you see that he'd do anything to hurt Bernie?
I'm not saying I believe your husband. I don't know yet. The whole matter will have to be investigated. I just want to get to Duckworth before he does himself any more harm. So do you know where he is?
I don't. I really don't.
Who was he going to fix? Do you know that?
Whoever got her pregnant, I suppose.
How would he know that?
Well, he wouldn't. How could he know? But he'd know everything else but that, yes.
More than you?
I thought I'd already told you I'm a washout as a mum, but he was a proper dad. That's probably why Peter's so jealous. Bernie didn't try and keep her little girl forever, running after her like a nursemaid, like Peter does, like he did to me as well when I let him.
Like you wanted him to last night, you mean?
Yes, you're right, of course, because it's easier, so much easier. Can't you see that? Or are you so strong you never want to be mothered?
No, but I don't expect it.
Oh, well, aren't you marvellous? Unfortunately, I'm still struggling, and Bernie helped me. I felt like I was beginning to be a grown-up with him. A grown-up human being. Just beginning, mind, but it was there, all right. And now you're going to take him away.
Not necessarily.
So, what do you want to know?
About Sally's boyfriends. Were there many?
Oh, they kept changing. You know how they are at that age. Every time I turn around, there's a different one.
Weren't there any more serious than the others?
Yeah, I suppose recently. There were a couple recently. Yeah, one in particular.
What was his name? Can you tell me that?
Butler, Davy, I think. Yeah, Davy Butler.
Where does he live?
Oh, I'm sure it's not him. He's a nice lad.
What's that ever had to do with it?
Yeah. Look at me, I was a nice girl once.
Where does he live now?
I don't know, not far. Moulton Road, is it?
Moulton Road? Isn't that the Mount Hill Rise?
That's right. A few streets away. Why?
Inspector Longton to Hartley.
What are you doing?
You don't have the number?
No.
I want the number of a house in Moulton Road. A family called Butler live there. I want a car to meet me there right away.
Come on, open up, please.
I don't care who you are. I'm not opening up this time of night. Now, you just clear off, will you? Get off, Alan.
Well, I'll just go on knocking then, eh?
What is all this? It's not 1984 yet, you know.
I want to see your son.
Davy? What's he done? It's not drugs, is it?
Where is he?
Why do you want to see him?
Because I'm going to give him a battering he'll never forget.
You'll not take my lad.
All right, we won't touch him, sir. Is there...
Well?
You know a lad called David Butler, friend of your daughter's?
I met him, yes. Why?
Apparently, your daughter and this lad... I've just left him. He's down the corridor. Very upset. He's very fond of your daughter. He says the baby was his.
How'd you get him to admit to that?
I'll ignore that, sir. Apparently, she went to see him last night, just before the accident, to break the news to him. Naturally, she was very upset.
Naturally. But the good news is that your colleague has been totally exonerated. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm telling you what the lad said, Mr. Walsh, that's all. I thought you'd want to know.
Yes. Well, he may have been exonerated from one crime, but I certainly intend to see that he doesn't get away scot-free. I intend to start proceedings against him for assault. And I'm contacting my solicitor in the morning.
That's up to you, sir.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to go back to the hospital, if you don't mind. To my family.
We shouldn't be talking like this, Bernie. We shouldn't be having this conversation at all.
Got to talk to someone.
You're finished in the force. You know that? There's nothing I can do to help.
Thanks.
What did you expect? You assault two people. One of them a young lad. Not only that, you lied to me.
Look, I know what I've done. I'm not asking for any favours.
Good, because you're not going to get any. How could you let it get to this stage?
Oh, I see. I've got to feel sorry for you now. Is that it?
No. You feel sorry for yourself. Go right ahead. You're going to need it. But you might spare a thought for the other people who are going to suffer. Like your own family, for a start. People who had nothing to do with this mess but are going to be dragged in all the same.
Yeah, you got it all worked out, haven't you? Marriage and family's right, and what I've done's wrong, and I'll get punished for it. What do you know about marriage? What really goes on, what people can do to each other. You're not married, you don't know a thing.
That's enough.
It's more than enough. I don't know why I asked to see you.
There's one thing I would like to know. If you had these problems, and let's face it, they can't be new, they must have been going on for ages, why didn't you tell someone? Anyone? Joe or George, if you couldn't bear to tell me. None of us. None of us had any idea.
Pat and I were going to set up home together, do you know that? Pat and Sally and me. Proper home. Proper family. Not the farce I've put up with for 15 years. Don't you know what it's like living in a house where you can hear him sigh every time you walk in the room? Where the kids have learned to copy the mum so well they've got the same pained expression on their face every time you open your mouth. And you know the only way you can ever stop them feeling embarrassed by your presence is by actually stopping breathing altogether. Do you know what that's like?
Was it all her fault?
Oh, God, I don't know. Just know I found a bit of happiness for once. Couldn't believe me luck. A couple of people who actually made me feel worth something. Who I could make happy too. Oh, don't laugh.
I'm not laughing.
Then this. Smash, it's all gone. I'd have murdered that kid if you hadn't come along when you did. I was so mad. Yeah, well... I'm glad you came.
Do you think Sally stepped in front of that lorry?
Yeah, I do.
But where? When there was you and her mother. You'd have understood, wouldn't you? She must have known that. Was it her father?
What do you think?
But why? She wasn't scared of him, was she?
She was ashamed, more like. And guilty. About letting him down. Yeah, he's a past master at all that. Can do it without opening his mouth, ain't you seen it? It's the only way he copes with them. It's the only way he knows how to control them. Always has been. But then that's only my opinion. But I'm a bit biased, ain't I?
If anyone wants me, George.
You'll be at home. I'll try and make sure no one disturbs you.
Just for a few hours. That's all I ask. Night.
Good morning.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
It's about the accident yesterday on Mount Hill Rise.
What about it?
I've been awake all night. Can't take it any longer. It was my fault, you see. Like the coppers said. I know it was. So I thought I'd better come in. What do we do now?
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
Sir?
Don't know me, eh?
No, sir.
I know you, sir. Detective Chief Inspector Leckie, Special Branch. This gentleman, though.
To see Inspector Darbley, we are expected. All teed up, Sergeant?
Sir?
Day after tomorrow, HRH.
Just another royal visit, sir, isn't it?
Is it?
Ah, Jean, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is, from London.
Oh.
Day after tomorrow, then?
Yep.
You have a problem.
What?
Talavera Street.
HRH will arrive Talavera Street at 11 o'clock to be met by the mayor. HRH will then plant a tree.
Then go walk about, as they say. Silver Band plays a selection from Merry England. Little Horror presses upon HRH a nosegay thieved from some municipal flower bed. And with any luck, it'll rain and we can all go home. Unless, of course, HRH gets shot.
We have a name. Someone who lives in Corona Gardens. Is there anyone known to you who lives there? First floor back, overlooking Talavera Street.
Oh, come on, this isn't downtown Dallas. You're not serious.
Oh, but I am.
We don't get that many coup d'etats north of the Manchester Ship Canal.
You do read the newspapers north of the Manchester Ship Canal?
What my friend means is letters to the editor, which started off 3 weeks since with that from her, which was answered rather rudely with that from him.
Emeritus Professor of European History.
Which she countered with that.
V. Bastien Miss Hartley. Who is she then, V. Bastien Miss?
She truly believes that she is in direct line from medallions under the rhododendrons in Marienbad in 1887 of some sporting Saxe-Coburg Hohenzollern laddie with his French mistress. She thinks she is the Princess Tixier-Vazincourt.
Princess? She lives in Corona Gardens?
The Tixier-Vazincourt estates are in Lot-et-Garonne, though there is a cadet branch in Boissy-en-Artois. The family doesn't recognize her, nor does Burke's Peerage, the Almanac de Gotha, or Greenmantle Pursuivant to the College of Arms.
She's crackers, of course, which isn't to say that V. Bastien Miss stroke Princess Tixier-Vazincourt from a window in Corona Gardens won't toss down the odd flower or two to our royal cousin, like maybe some geraniums in some pots.
It's what one might call the Anastasia syndrome.
Might one?
The Grand Duchess Anastasia was a daughter of the Tsar.
Some say not shot by the Bolsheviks. Since when? One or other of her keeps popping up in Mönchengladbach and such places.
I know who the Grand Duchess Anastasia was.
So, this is a crazy old French lady who's angry because she feels she hasn't been given her rightful dues and title. She has a background of war service at the sharp end in the French resistance. She overlooks Talavera Street. It's a possibility she might use the occasion for some protest.
I see.
Take her out.
What?
Take her out.
Day after tomorrow, love, while HRH goes walkabout. What you do is take the old biddy to play bingo or something.
Me? Well, that's out of the question. This is a royal visit to my section. You get someone else.
No.
Well, I'm afraid you do. I'm sorry, but this is my town.
Not the day after tomorrow, Jean. The day after tomorrow, this town belongs to the Chief Constable, the ACC Ops, and the Lord Lieutenant.
When Detective Chief Inspector Leckie here approached the chief, the chief, suggested you straight away.
There is a risk involved here. And he thinks that you're the perfect person to deal sympathetically and properly with this old lady, and you're elected.
Well, I am very angry about this. There are plenty of other females in this constabulary to do this job, including special branch females. Why me?
Oh, come on, Jean. Look, we might be able to relieve you for a minute, get you into line to have your hand shook by our HRH, but no promises.
That is not what I'm talking about at all.
Jean, it's happened. Now, it happens to all of us. The order we don't like. That's the name of our game. But you just have to accept.
Well, I accept, but with very bad grace. Now, what else do we know about this woman apart from these press cuttings?
Well, the fact is, we don't know too much about her. We had a file.
Oh, you had a file. The spooks had a file.
Only some jokers had it away. After the war, I suppose. Anyway.
The file's gone.
Disons que cette grande figure de l'histoire de France contemporaine a disparu. Novembre 70. Dans les salles de rédaction, toute la nuit du 9 avait couru une rumeur sinistre. Le général de Gaulle est mort. Et puis brusquement, au petit matin, un flash d'agence confirmait la...
Bonjour, mon général.
Well, thank you, Jean, for your cooperation.
Of course, sir.
We'll be in touch.
Right, sir.
Goodbye.
Sergeant Parrish, where's Sergeant Beck?
Checking report of traffic lights out, Crown Lane. Then he's going over to some informant in Market Street.
See if you can get him back here. No immediate rush. Some major changes to the HRH visit.
Oh, aye, Mum.
Cup of coffee, Mum?
No, Roland, not now.
We'll see every mob, won't we? Special branch. And others who move in mysterious ways. It's the royal visit.
What do they want?
Oh, I understand they're checking on us lot.
What do you mean, Sarge? Checking on us lot?
Well, it's obvious. We're going to be in the front line of the HRH visit. I mean, any one of us could be a subversive. Nasty.
Subversive, us lot? It's a bit daft, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, of course it is.
Of course, Sergeant Beck and I won't have any truck with the communists. Prefer our ales to vodka. Take someone like you, for example.
Example of what?
Well, you've just had a red-hot, passionate affair with that well-known Trotskyite, that Melisande Duffy.
Hey, roundabout, Sarge, what are you talking about?
Well, did you or didn't you recently embrace Trotskyitism? If not philosophically, then certainly physically, in the very acceptable shape of Ms. Duffy.
I had a tiny little fling with her.
Tiny. That wasn't the impression I got. The point is, Roland, were you untainted politically by your madcap passion?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Madcap passion?
Talking about you, lad. But that's not important. What's important is, are they talking about you?
I don't believe this.
When it comes to a royal visit, do you think those people can afford to take chances with a bloke like you, whose politics may be as dubious as his dodgy morals?
They won't know about me and Melisande.
What do you think they're paid for? To sit around all day playing with bullet-firing cigar cases? Their job is to know about you, Roland.
Hey, come on, Sarge. You're kidding me, aren't you, eh?
I don't kid, Roland. I never kid. At the least, you'll be quietly put away somewhere for the visit. At the most, they'll put Mickey Fins in your coffee. Mind you, if it's your usual lousy coffee, it can only improve the rotten taste. Hartley to Sergeant Beck.
Sergeant Beck will see you.
Message from Inspector Darbley. Could you come in and see her?
Say in half an hour.
In about half an hour?
Yeah, will do.
I shall be at Miss V. Bastien's, 27 Corona Gardens.
Right, well.
Listen, about Miss Duffy.
The subject's closed. I don't want to discuss it. If you're running a spy network from this station, I don't want to be implicated.
Spy network? It's bloody potty.
Is it?
That one now, Noel spoke well of her last time out at Newbury. Over a mile and a quarter, she could get...
Thank you very much. Miss Bastien, is it?
Yes?
Although there are some who would say the Princess de Vassincourt.
Are there now? And are you one of those who would say that? Or are you one of those who say the stupid old woman's off her head?
I've read your letters, ma'am, in the Telegraph. Police inspector.
Really? What can I do for you?
I wondered if we might have a talk.
I see. Please sit down. Would you have time to join me in a coffee?
Thank you.
It's my last luxury, good coffee. I've met some local police before, but not you, I think.
I haven't been here all that long.
I used to see quite a lot of Sergeant Beck.
Oh, yeah?
Such a kind man. He would sometimes place the occasional bet for me.
I see.
I'd put money in an envelope and he'd take it to the betting shop. The betting shops of Artley are not the most salubrious of places.
Agreed.
It's a strange existence. In 1942 with the Maquis, we used to take on the Boche day in, day out. Now I'm forced to worry about some teenage mugger attacking me outside a betting shop.
May I ask how long you've been in Hartley?
You may, yes, since 1946.
May I ask why you came here?
I think you'll find my affair with Major Crabtree well documented at that time in the local press. I met him when he was parachuted into France to help organize the Maquis. He had mills in this area. After the war, I returned here as his mistress. He died in the same year as his wife, 1955. I stayed on.
You'll have heard about this royal visit the day after tomorrow.
Oh, yes. I'm quite looking forward to it.
Can I ask what you think of our royal family?
Well, of course, they're imposters, aren't they?
Are they?
Oh, yes. Even a superficial examination of the record, and you will see they have absolutely no claim to the English throne. Of course, they're a particular source of irritation to me, because ultimately they are the people who control the lackeys who refuse to legitimize my title.
So you're not too keen on them?
I would put it a little stronger than that.
Oh?
Are you worried that I might throw a bomb down on them?
No.
I used to assemble bombs for the Maquis, you know.
I see.
But the day after tomorrow, I may have a more pressing engagement. There's a good card at Haydock Park. I'll probably be there. But no promises.
Well, Miss Bastian, to put it bluntly, we have to be 100% positive about the security of the royal route.
And you may be back to check on me.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that's all right. Oh, the kettle's boiling.
Tomorrow.
What is it?
The job.
What job, Stanley?
The job, the big one.
The big one. Mm-hmm.
Thing is, Sergeant Beck, caper's only on if I go too.
You?
I'm the wheels, me.
Hey?
So when you hit like, you have to let me take it on me toes, yeah?
Stanley, listen. I don't get to see that much telly, so in English, yeah? What you're saying is, tomorrow, there's this job.
What Dalton and this Scotch fella's putting together, yeah?
And you're to be the driver?
Affirmative.
You'll not mind me asking, Stanley, but why you?
Aye.
Why, Stanley?
Well, you know the one they call Nigel, little scouse fella? Well, it were to have been Nigel, only he fell off a ladder, sprained his arm.
So when he couldn't get Scouse Nigel, Dalton propositioned you?
Aye. He's a psycho, you know, Dalton. I done me bird with him, didn't I?
What?
I knew him in Slammer when I were doing bird.
You never did any bird. You were on remand was all, for screwing your gas meter.
Fraud?
Fiddling the HB on your moped then. And now you're the wheels for Dalton. What to do, Stanley? Bank heist, is it? Knocking over a load of bullion, yeah?
Warehouse.
What warehouse?
I don't know.
Where?
I don't know.
If you don't know what warehouse, Stanley, how are we going to stake it out?
It's me that'll shift gear.
What gear?
What, the thief from warehouse? I don't know. Do I what gear until the thief did?
What you're telling me is tomorrow there's this job, it's team-handed, and you're going to drive the getaway car.
Truck.
Eh?
Truck. 3-ton truck.
Bloody hell.
To bring thief gear to slaughter.
Slaughter?
Running. Where does this fella who'll punt out gear?
Who, Stanley?
Ah, well, he's on you.
If you're going to pull a job and you don't tell me all about it, you'll take your chances. So where's the fence?
Talavera Street.
Talavera Street tomorrow. I'll need to know more than that.
The one who's having the gear away is the one they call Bangalore Fred. In with Bonmart Exchange and Bazaar.
Oh, no. Not Bhattacharya.
Good day to you, Mr. Bhattacharya.
Good day to you, Your Highness.
Yesterday was not a good day, was it?
No. Well, sadly for us, Willie Carson's man didn't get tripped for once.
One might say, Mr. Bhattacharya, it was no better than a lame donkey.
Yes, well, one does the best one can.
What is the best one can with this?
Ah, right. Excuse me. The best one can with this is... Ah, it's not, I'm sorry to say, Bhattacharya's Bonmart Exchange and Bazaar. No. No, well, you must take it to Sotheby's.
I don't have time, Mr. Bhattacharya. I don't have time.
Yes, well, very beautiful. Costume jewelry, of course, but, well... Aye, worth several £100.
Given to me by my aunt, the Princess Eugenie.
Well, yes, of course, Your Highness, of course, if you say so.
I do say so.
Well, madam, see, I don't know where I can lay my hands on half the money to buy this from you.
Well then, Mr. Bhattacharya, you give me what you have.
But it's wrong, you see. Well, all I could give you is, say, £100.
That will have to do, Mr. Bhattacharya. The day after tomorrow, where I'm going, I shall no longer require money. The point is, Mr. Bhattacharya, I want to place one last enormous bet on a horse.
Not only will I not be on duty here the day after tomorrow, I'll also possibly not be in the area. So, I've taken the operation in order for the royal visit and made the appropriate alterations to your duties. Have a look at them and let me know your comments.
I want to report some words I've had with an informant about the screwing of a warehouse somewhere off us and the dropping of the gear in Hartley.
Can you not pass the information to CID, Joseph? It sounds more their scene. What I want to know from you is how well you know Miss V. Bastien, Corona Gardens.
I know her, ma'am, not too well.
You used to put bets on for her.
Some time ago, I used to come down Talavera Street on my way to work. She'd give me an envelope and I'd drop it off at the bookies, that's all.
Yes. Well, what do you think of her?
Well, she's a kind, gentle old lady with a fine eye for horseflesh.
Has she ever been in trouble over the years?
Good grief, ma'am, not her. She's all sweetness and light.
Do we know anything else about her?
No, Mum.
All right, thank you. That's all for now.
Ma'am, about this information.
I'll have a word with CID, Joseph. I'm a bit pushed at the moment. Is it so pressing?
Permission to assist CID if anything comes of it.
Oh, yes, Joseph, of course.
Thank you.
Kiraye, huh?
Acha, namaskar. Well, let's hear it then.
There'll be 48 boxes. 1 dozen silk head scarves to each box. Price in a posh London shop, say 20 quid a piece. That's 15 grand.
12 grand.
Ah, but our price to you, 5 grand. That right, Dalton? 48 boxes?
Yeah, well, perhaps they're too many.
What's the wee tinker saying?
What I'm saying... Steady, I have a customer for your rock goods, but he doesn't want delivery for a week. Now, you want paying straight away, right?
Oh.
So I have to put up the money.
Oh.
That's what industry is calling a cash flow problem, isn't it?
Listen, tinker. That's not our problem. We made a deal together. We deliver, you pay. Or I'm going to cut your head off.
Listen, you Scotch git. If the tinker doesn't pay, it's down to me. It'll be more than just cut his head off.
Thing is, Joe, did you encourage Stanley to take part in this caper?
Don't be daft.
And he's not doing much.
He says he's driving a truck. But if Dalton and his mob have any sense, they'll keep his role to a minimum.
Trouble is...
What?
When the learned judge asks how come you let Stanley take it on his toes down Talavera Street, yet lifted the others...
His barrister's now screaming that me and Stanley set him up.
You could get an horrible bloody nose in the witness box.
So?
Tell it to the jacks.
I already have. Who's your snout, says Dave Melchett.
Perish the thought, says you, that the good Sergeant Beck would ever disclose the name of a secret and reliable source.
But seeing who it is, says I, and as he'll likely get me a bloody nose in the witness box, my secret and reliable source is...
Accrington Stanley.
Right.
Fell about laughing, yeah?
Yeah. You're off your trolley, Sergeant Beck, says Dave Melchett, and maybe K-like. Anyhow, we need to stop laughing. You reckon that this team will be Willie Barr,
Dalton,
Barr, Stanley, Dalton. These three. The greatest of these is Dalton.
Look, I wonder if it's convenient to have another word.
Oh, but of course, my dear. I knew you'd be back. Please, come in.
Are you not eating your tea?
No, I don't eat tea. Dinner, as at the Russian Imperial Court, I have at 9. Please be seated. Oh, you look very attractive out of your uniform.
Thank you.
I have always hated uniforms. I think that's why I was quite keen to have a go at the Boche. Hated their uniforms. Will you join me in a piano, my dear?
Thank you, no.
Well, excuse me.
When you had a go, Miss Bastien, well, can I ask you, did you ever kill any Germans?
Yes, but of course.
Oh.
I was a crack shot, you see. Wasted, of course.
Wasted?
Well, we only had Sten guns, quite unsophisticated. Before the war, I shot for France. I was at Bisley several times. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, by the way, I'm not going to Adok Park day after tomorrow, and I will be here to at least call down some of my complaints to your royal personages, and I have taken the precaution of telephoning my lawyer. Do you know Mr. Parry Harkness?
Yes, I know Mr. Parry Harkness.
Now, he tells me I am only to leave this room if you formally arrest me. That way we would have recourse for false arrest. I see. I also asked him whether it would be possible for him to be in the hall downstairs at the time of the royal arrival, in case you came to remove me. He's thinking about it.
I see.
What's troubling you, my dear? I'm just an old woman at the end of her days.
Well, I don't think you are.
How's that?
Well, before you told me you were a crack shot at killing Germans, a part of the reason I came here is I wondered if there was any possibility of your coming to talk about your war experiences to the local branch of the Soroptimists.
Really?
Yes.
No. Old people shouldn't talk about their war experiences. All they remember is the exaggerated cliché. Does no service to their comrades who gave their lives in real and appalling conditions.
Well, you could talk about that.
What?
What you just said.
Thank you for your kind invitation, my dear. So optimists. I'm extremely flattered. Was there anything else you wanted to know?
No. I came to ask you your movements. You've told me that you'll be here and probably calling down your complaints.
And you can't arrest me for that?
No.
May I talk to you tomorrow? May I telephone you at the station?
Yes, of course. Well, good night then.
Where have you been?
I just walked up Torridge, looked down over the moor. In the early morning with the mist rising, it's a thing. A moment of rare beauty.
Hey, Lofty, where's this night watchman, then?
You said regular as if time be a clock. He slopes off 6 a.m. for newspapers and chinwag with his mate at station.
That's what I said. That's it. Right, lads, we're 35 minutes. In, out, and away.
What's wrong with this bloody van?
Mount.
What's wrong with it?
I said mount.
You said the silk scarves would be in small boxes.
Well, it's small boxes inside crates. Come on. Come on, let's get this shit. Listen, you. If this thing don't start, I'm gonna smash your head with every rusting edge of it.
He'll start.
You told me you had a special van for thieving job. With an eye-tuned engine that'd show a clean pair of wheels to any police Jaguar.
I said police car. I meant Allegro, like, not Jaguar. Allegro.
Allegro, is it? I've a bloody good case of not having an engine in this thing. All I can hear is a rotten starter. Why aren't you turning it?
I'm resting battery.
I'll give you a resting battery.
Now, it's running, I told you.
Now then, got a problem?
Van's broke down.
I can see that. You sent for help?
No, our mate here's an ace mechanic.
Well, about an hour from now, this is going to be a really busy road, you know. If you don't get it shifted, you're going to cause quite an obstruction.
Looks like it was petrol starvation from a weak pump. Trouble is, bloody battery's run down now. We just might be able to push start it.
Well, you get aboard then. We'll give him an hand to push it, eh? Come on, then. You ready, then?
Ready.
Ma'am,
Yes.
this is it.
This is what?
I didn't get a chance to tell you yesterday. An old informant of mine, Accrington Stanley.
Who?
Ma'am, this is important. Accrington Stanley informed me that he was to be the wheels in a big job to be pulled today by a team comprising himself and two other villains, Dalton and Barr. He was to be the wheels, but he didn't know what the job was.
By wheels, you mean he was driving the others?
Yes, ma'am. Last night, Shed 17, that's bordering runway 3 at Manchester Airport, was broken into and a valuable
Hang on. Do you mean to tell me that you knew there was to be a job and you allowed your informant to go off and be party to committing a crime?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't tell me?
I did try to tell you, ma'am.
I didn't realise it was potentially so serious, Joseph. You should have made that clear yesterday. A matter like this can blow up in your face.
Yes, I realise that.
What else?
The dropping-off place is to be Bangalore Fred's.
Yes, Anne?
CID have been keeping an eye on the place for the last hour, but nothing's happened as yet.
What about this Manchester theft?
Industrial diamonds, estimated value £71,550.
Doesn't sound like Bhattacharya's cup of tea.
You never know, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am, I just wanted a word with Sergeant Beck. Are you coming, Joe, or shall I go without you?
Yes, I'm coming if...
Yes, Joseph, go. We can have discussion about ethics after the event, if there is one.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Put her through. Good morning, Miss Bastian.
Is it, my dear? It looks rather cloudy. I hope that's not here to stay and ruin the royal visit tomorrow.
What can I do for you, Miss Bastian?
I'm still laughing in your face, Joe, if you're telling me that Stanley's had it away with 71,000 in industrial diamonds.
Yeah, well, you may end up laughing on the other side of your face.
Come on, I know him as well as you. 2 years ago, you reckon he had the score on that organised shoplifting gang. We nearly ended up charging him with wasting police time. Nah, he's made a career out of living in a fantasy world of villainy and touching up gullible cops for his snout money.
I hope to God you're right and I'm wrong.
Bloody hell, here they are. Right, Joe. Let them get inside, then we'll jump them.
All clear?
Aye.
Let's get on.
Hey, we're here. Where do you want him? Accrington, make sure no customers come in, will you? Right, put it down here. Right. Hey, you said cars would be pre-packed in small boxes. What's this?
Little boxes inside these crates.
Bloody hell.
Flags.
Flags? Guildford and Ellis Islands Independence Day celebrations. 32 dozen. Treat as rags for reprocessing.
Look, I could use them tomorrow for royal visits. People don't care what flag it is, they just want someone to wave about. Now, I'll be generous. I'll give you £10 for lot.
Oh, it's all got to be done to you, Lofty, you stupid, mindless, big-brained lump!
Sorry.
Shut it, son. I haven't even started. I think I'm going to give you a kicking.
Hey, come on, you two, stop it! Stop it! Oh, I'm getting out of here.
Stand still, everybody. We're police officers. Dalton Bar, you're under arrest.
Hey, that is here. Come here. Where do you think you're going?
For flags? Over a few flags? You're the one that's stupid, pig-brained. I'm coming in.
You too, Stanley. You and I have things to talk about.
Wait here, George.
Yes, Mom.
Come in, my dear. Sit down. Just in time for coffee.
No, thank you very much.
As you wish. Well, now, what is your up-to-the-minute decision about me?
I'm afraid that, come what may, despite your lawyer and any manoeuvres about false arrest, I am going to make sure that you are not anywhere near the royal visit tomorrow.
You're very strong-willed.
I think you are.
You are quite a shock to me. I mean, your intrusion into my life has been quite a shock.
I'm sorry.
I seem to have spent such a long time alone in this room. Years and years. I've no real friends. Just Mr. Bhattacharya, who occasionally likes to rob me, and a dozen vague acquaintances seen at racetracks. And then you walk in here yesterday and invite me to talk to your sour optimists. That invitation's still open?
Yes.
I'm thinking about it, my dear. What a strong, self-willed girl you must be to have become a police person of rank. When you came yesterday, you reminded me of somebody. Last night I realized you reminded me of myself years ago, when I had strength of body to match my strength of mind. And I was quite dangerous.
There will be no protest tomorrow.
I know that. There will be no protest because you've succeeded with me on one single count. I didn't want to start to like you. I failed in that. Oh, you've seen all the bunting in the streets. It looks so lovely. Such a pity to miss it.
Where will you be, Miss Bastian?
I've got a small confession to make.
Yes?
Remember I was saying I was the mistress of a marvellous man, Harry Major H.H. Crabtree?
Yes.
When Harry knew he was dying, he gave me certain personal mementos, you know? Little things to remind me of our times together. One of the things he gave me was this. And I had the ammunition. I think you should have it. You know, I might be burgled. Something like that.
Is this gun in working order?
I think so, my dear.
You know, I'll have to report this.
Of course. Now, the royal visit. I understand they arrive below at 11 a.m.
Yes.
Well, I have bought a ticket for London tomorrow. A train ticket for 9 a.m. If you'd like to see me off, dear. If you'd like to have some nice policeman make sure I get on the train. Then I shall be on the outskirts of London when the royals arrive below.
Yes, Miss Bastien, I think we would like to see you off.
Voilà, c'est tout.
Sergeant Beck, my office.
Right.
Here, take that in the locker room. Sit with it till I find out what to do with it.
Hey, a machine gun.
What's it for? It's just come through. Special branch are now allowed to shoot subversives. Headquarters, Chief Inspector Walton, please.
Gilbert and Ellis Independence flags.
Now long gone, ma'am. Independence Day, that is.
And how do you propose to handle in your report your pre-knowledge of your informant committing a crime?
All I can say, ma'am, is that I shall handle it to the best of my abilities and accept any censure there is.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sergeant Beck.
Yes, ma'am.
I shall be on duty here as usual tomorrow. I'm seeing an old lady off on a train to London. She thinks she's catching the 9 a.m., but that stops en route. I'm putting her on the 9:15 intercity, no stops. Amend the operational order.
Yes, ma'am. Come on then, Alice, love. Let's be having you. Time you're out and about. Breakfast is served. Come on, love. No, madam. You are coming out. Well, that's enough of that. You watch your language, young lady. Who taught you to swear, eh? How's your neck, sweetheart? Oh, it's mending up nicely. Now, let's see what you've got for me. 2 today. Smashing. If this goes on, I'll have to think twice about having you on me dinner table come Christmas. Now, don't upset yourself, I was only joking. Now, I'm off to work in a while, so look after the place while I'm away, eh? Morning, Mrs. Timothy. OK, then, are you, Alfred?
I was, lad. Day started out well. Yes. This came for you.
Grand. Take it for this, too.
Thinking of starting a chicken farm?
Aye. But when I retire.
That'll not be long off now, will it? Hey, Joe. I don't know how to tell you this, lad, but this morning I saw somebody. Somebody we both knew from way back.
Ah, well, get on with it.
Well, there he was, walking up the street as if he'd never been away. Temple. Clive Temple. Well, I didn't recognise him at first. He's grown a beard. But you recall him, Clive.
Aye.
Quite amazing, yours. Well, he's come back to Hartley.
Is it April Fool's Day or something, or just another bad hangover?
Joe, I'm telling you.
Either way, it's in very bad taste.
Joe, it was him. I saw him.
No, Alfred. You were mistaken.
I went to school with him. It was him, definitely.
You're wrong. He's dead.
Clive Temple!
Marion? Marion, I don't know where to find the words. I knew this would be a shock. I knew that. Please, Marion.
No. No, don't come near me.
Let me tell
No,
you.
no, you get back!
Let
Get
me talk to
away!
you, Marion.
Get away! You're dead! You're dead!
Yes, Clive Charles Temple.
Hey, what's happened to the tea? You sent to China or what?
You can't rush tea making, you know, Sarge.
Oh, what stage are we at exactly?
It's masking.
Right, I'll be up.
Well, give it a quick stir. Inspector Darby's been making inquiries.
Give it a quick start. No disrespect intended, Sarge. There's a special art to tea making. We could even compromise by using tea bags.
The inspector could do with a cup like now.
She drinks a lot of tea these days, you know.
Perhaps she gets thirsty.
Well, let's just hope she's not getting addicted.
Just pour it, lad. Harley Police. Morning, Harold. How are the radishes?
Well, seems impossible to keep a low profile around here, Sarge.
How do you mean?
Well, the inspector knows about my girlfriend, apparently. She asked her name. Is there no privacy?
Well, David, it's plain something's got to you.
Sarge?
Well, on account of how you keep combing through your hair every other minute of the day. I mean, you're always at it. Enough to arouse anyone's suspicions.
Well, I've got to keep myself tidy.
Wow, a bit fussy is she, or Glenda?
I've got competition, Sarge, that's the point. There's this computer programmer after it. You know what they're like, neat, clean, well-advised.
Have you finished that report on the Clayton Street burglary yet?
I'm in the midst of typing it, Sarge.
Yeah, well, get it done, will you? Before you go off, please. I want it on the inspector's desk this afternoon.
Missing persons file?
That's what it is.
Clive Charles Temple. Something I should know.
Not particularly. All happened a while back. Before your time here, George. 10 years ago, in fact.
It's your life. Our life. He can't interfere with that. We won't let him. Look, love, he's come back because people do that sometimes. Return to their roots. Nothing more to it. What can he possibly expect of you now after all this time? Love, what can he do now? I'm asking you. You waited 7 years. As far as we were concerned, the man was dead.
Joseph, that report on the Clayton Street burglary, I should have it by now.
It's done, ma'am. I was just checking David's spelling.
Oh, has it improved?
Not noticeably.
Perhaps we should buy him a dictionary for Christmas.
Maybe his new girlfriend will teach him.
Spelling?
Joe? You'll be surprised, I know. Recognize me with the beard?
Aye.
Well, how are you, Joe? I wondered if I'd still find you.
I can't talk now.
Joe.
I can't talk. I'm on duty.
Please, Joe.
It's not possible.
Well, can I come back later?
I'm working, you can see that.
When you're finished here, have a drink with me across the road. It's still there, I see, the old pub. Not fallen down. I saw it as I come in here.
Look.
I've got something to tell you. Something important.
I'll be a few hours yet.
All right. Shall I see you then?
Yes, I'll meet you.
Thank you, Joe.
Joseph, something the matter? You look quite shattered. Who was that?
Somebody I thought was dead. 10 years dead. I knew him. His name's Clive Temple. He disappeared from his home here in Hartley one morning. Not been heard of since. And then suddenly he walks in here like so. Who'd credit it?
You don't seem particularly overjoyed.
It's not that easy, ma'am. Clive was a mate of mine, a good mate. And then he just left.
Will you come in for a moment, Joseph? think he's come back now?
I've no idea, none at all.
Aren't you curious over what's happened? You say he was a mate of yours?
I can't say how I feel, ma'am, not rightly. It's a shock, no denying. I'd had warning he was back, but I couldn't believe it. That Clive, of all people, should leave his friends and family not knowing.
Maybe he had good reason.
I can't accept that, ma'am, with respect. 10 years of silence takes quite a lot of explaining.
And you've no idea why he went?
I saw him the night before he left. I'd been going through a rather difficult time with certain personal problems I won't go into. Clive came round to my digs to cheer me up. He left just before midnight. He didn't say anything about going away. That was the last I saw of him. His wife phoned me here at the station. Clive's gone. She was fairly hysterical. I thought he'd be back before long.
But why assume he was dead?
A man doesn't just disappear overnight without an explanation.
Oh, some do. You know that.
No, not Clive. It didn't seem possible. Not to go off without a word. I thought he must be dead after all this time. I was convinced of it. So was Marion. She even got married again.
Is she still in Hartley?
Lives in the same house.
You still keep in touch?
Well, I was Clive's friend.
Joseph, what did she do about her first marriage?
Ma'am?
I'm talking about Mrs. Temple.
What about her, ma'am?
She'd have dissolved her first marriage before she could get married again.
Well, I'm not sure whether she did or not. I know she called herself by her maiden name after Clive left. She didn't like to be known as Mrs. Temple.
But did she divorce this man Temple on grounds of presumed death? When did she get married again?
A couple of years back to a man named Kershaw.
Sit down, Joseph. Were you or any of his other friends in Hartley ever asked if you'd heard of Temple since he left?
No, I'm certain of that.
But it's likely that his wife's solicitor would have made such inquiries to support a divorce petition.
Are you suggesting she may have got herself married twice over?
It needs looking at, Joseph. It's a defence in law if you haven't heard from your former spouse for 7 years and have no reason to think them alive.
Then she's in the clear.
On a charge of bigamy, presuming it checks out. But for all we know, he could have been phoning or writing to her every other week.
No, there's been no sight nor sound of him, ma'am.
We don't know that, Joseph, not for certain. Was he reported as a missing person?
Yes, I've got the file.
And you're seeing this man tonight?
That's the plan.
Ask him to come and see me. I shall want him to confirm that he was totally out of touch with his wife for 7 years.
It's quite possible she did get a divorce, ma'am.
Yes, but if she didn't and she knows he's back, she's going to be in a bit of a state right now, isn't she, Joseph? She's going to need some advice.
Shall I go and see her?
No, I'll go. You need to talk to your friend, sort out matters between you.
Joe? Yes. Give me a pint. Name again.
I've got a message for you. My boss, Inspector Darbley. She wants to see you.
Me?
There might be certain legal complications arising now you've decided to come back. Because in the meantime, Marion's gone and got herself hitched again.
Aye, I gathered you. I saw her this morning. I owe you an explanation.
I don't reckon so. If you couldn't put yourself out to tell me at the time, then leave it be.
Oh, come on, listen.
Let it stand, Clive. You were missed, greatly missed. I can't say you weren't. I missed you. But folk get over these things, you know. The weeks roll by, then the years. I was mighty upset at the time. I thought we were mates. Mates hold things in trust. I thought you were all right. I was wrong.
Look, I'm here to explain. Explain what happened. Why I went up like that, like the reason. Only I'm finding it so damn hard. So you're going to stand there like some great big chimney breast eating with wounded pride. I had troubles, Joe, my God, I did.
I'm listening.
Well, give me time, mate.
What happened, Clive?
Well,
What was it?
You don't know what you're asking, Joe. You just don't know.
You look bad. Are you sick?
I'm not sure. I'm not eating today.
Not eating? Silly beggar, no wonder. Come on, drink up. You'd better get back to my place and have a bite. You can try some free-range eggs.
Are you sure, Joe?
Did you get a divorce before marrying again?
No, I didn't. 7 years had passed. I assumed he was dead.
Why did you assume that?
There was no reason to think he was still alive. He was reported missing. The police went through all the motions, but they couldn't trace him.
So after 7 years, you felt free to remarry?
I wanted a husband. I wanted children, Inspector. You can understand that.
Yes, I understand that. But I'm afraid it was necessary for you to dissolve your first marriage before remarrying.
What does that mean?
How did you describe your marital status to the registrar?
I used my maiden name. I said I was a spinster.
That wasn't true, was it?
Look, he'd long gone. So far as I was concerned, he was dead. It just didn't seem necessary to go through all the business of getting divorced. I never expected to see or hear from him again.
Did you consult a solicitor at the time?
No, I didn't.
Well, you would have been advised to petition the court for a decree absolute on presumption of Mr. Temple's death. And in the light of his return, I'm afraid your marriage to Mr. Kershaw is void.
Are you saying that our daughter was born out of wedlock?
My advice is that Mrs. Temple see a solicitor, get a quick divorce, and then you can remarry.
Look, he went off of his own accord. Now he's taken it into his head to come back. This situation isn't of our making. Why should our lives be disturbed?
It's simply a formality which has to be gone through, Mr. Kershaw. This is very distressing for you, I appreciate, but I'm afraid in the circumstances I must ask you some further questions, Mrs. Temple.
Right, well, let's get it done then.
What happened when your husband left?
He just went. It was a Tuesday morning. I woke up and found him gone. Just the imprint of his head on the pillow, that's all there was left of him. I phoned the council office where he worked, but I hadn't seen him.
And you had no idea why?
What do you think when your husband walks out? What comes natural?
Had you been unhappy together?
Ups and downs.
Did you think he'd come back?
We'd been married 9 years. He wasn't an unkind man. He wasn't a cruel man. But I thought at the very least he'd come and face me and tell me that he wanted out and not just leave me high and dry. 9 years. Doesn't sound very long when you say it just like that, does it?
Did Mr. Temple subsequently attempt to get in touch with you?
Not a whisper.
No Christmas cards, phone calls, letters, things like that?
Nothing.
There were no children?
No children.
What happened about the house and your financial affairs?
Everything was in our joint names. He never drew on the bank account after he left. But will we have to go to court over this?
If Mr. Temple confirms your account, I shall submit a report to Divisional Headquarters recommending no action, and that should see an end to the matter.
I hope so.
Rub up. Well, that's a jewel bit fry up if ever I saw one.
What made you grow the fungus?
Something to hide behind.
Hide?
Got more like a policeman over the years, Joe. No innocent remarks for you, eh?
Force of habit. So what you been doing with yourself over the years?
Bummed around, mostly. Been all over, in fact. I'm a little town in Somerset as of now. Bed Street, nothing much.
How do you keep yourself?
Labouring on building sites, mostly. Nothing regular.
If you were in bother, why didn't you tell me?
I couldn't do that.
But I owed you something, Clive. I had that rough patch when I came back from Colliston. Things were falling apart. I was in a mess. You bailed me out. Took me out boozing, listened to the story of my sad life.
In a right state, I remember.
Not many people would have done it. Not for a copper. A copper doesn't have that many friends. Even in a place like Hartley.
I killed a man, Joe. I ran him down with my car and killed him. Hit and run, Joe.
Lassie.
Where? Where did this happen?
On the moors. I've been round to see at your digs, and after I went for a long drive. It was quite dark by the time I came back across Shepherd's Way towards Hartley. So sudden, John. There he was, this cyclist coming at me. Twisting about in the road like the man was drunk. He was on top of me before I knew it. Oh, I tried to swerve. Just wasn't time. I rammed down hard on the brakes. The car skidded. I can still hear the scream of those tires. And then there was a loud bang. And the man was tossed up. He came winging across the bonnet and his face smashed into the windscreen. And then he just slid away. Like a drowning man. He went under into the darkness. I panicked, Joe. I just panicked and drove off.
But you didn't report the incident?
No, I didn't report it.
Then stop now. You shouldn't have told me this, none of it.
It's got to be told.
Use your head, I'm a cop.
I've been eating up with this for 10 years. I just got to get rid of it.
You left Hartley immediately it happened?
Yes, the next morning.
Taking your car?
Oh, my head was in a fever, Joe. I kept going till I was exhausted. And then I found this piece of scrubland. No idea where, miles away. So I parked the car there. And then I found this length of iron bar. I started hitting the car with it. I went wild. I smashed it. Stuck in the window screen. I just hit out and hit out. My hands were bleeding. Cut all over. Oh, and then I just ran off.
Why did you smash up your car?
Because I killed a man with that machine, that's why!
Are you certain you weren't concealing evidence?
I haven't driven a car since that day, Joe.
You're an idiot. You made it look like it was your fault by scuttling off whether it was or not. You compounded the problem. How fast were you driving?
Not fast, 35, 40, no more.
Could you have prevented the accident?
I was upset. If all my attention had been on the road, then maybe my reflexes would have been that much quicker, I don't know.
What had upset you?
Oh, that's irrelevant.
Did it have anything to do with me? So is it now coming round to being my fault, this?
No, Jill.
Then what?
Look, when your mate has a big downer, you feel responsible. My mind was elsewhere.
What a mess.
Anyway, I've told you now. Oh, it took so much to tell you, Jill. I feel like I've smashed my way out of some dark, musty, closed-up room.
Oh, I'm glad for you. I think we'd better wind up this conversation.
I better go back to the guest house tonight.
It's not necessary. You can stay here if you want to.
No, I think I should go, really, don't you?
Maybe so.
Well, Alice, what would you do about all this, then? Well, go on, tell me. What would be your advice? You're a fat lot of help. Only good for Egg Lane, young lady.
It were my fault, you see, in a manner of speaking. If I hadn't filled his head with my problems, he'd have driven straight home.
How could you know it was going to happen?
Doesn't alter the fact that it did. What would you do, George, in my position?
Well, possibly my first move might be to seek you out, Joe, and ask for some sound advice. I can't tell you. I mean, I'm not in your predicament. Maybe I'd report it, come what may. On the other hand, perhaps your deaf aid wasn't working so well last night and you didn't really catch everything that was said.
No. I know a crime has been committed and has gone unanswered. I don't see I can ignore that just because an old mate's involved.
Well, I must be getting back. You have to decide, Joe. Only you know how much you owe this fella.
He did a lot for me. And now all I can do for him is to see him prosecuted. It's mighty hard. Who'd be a copper?
What will you do, Joe?
I don't know. I can't ignore our conversation of last night. I can't pretend it didn't happen.
I understand that. Come in, Joe.
I'll have to report what you told me.
Ah, of course you will.
I go on duty at 2 this afternoon. That's 4 hours away. Time enough for you to be gone.
No, Joe, that's not possible.
Why? You disappeared easy enough before. You should be an expert by now.
Because I don't want to disappear. I came to you because you're the police, Joe. You're the law.
Are you looking for punishment or something? Is that it? I see you've been busy shaving yourself. Is that to make way for a halo?
Don't think this has been easy! It's taken me 10 years to come to terms with this.
Do you realise you could face quite serious charges?
I'm not exactly looking forward to prison, which I know I could get if it was manslaughter. Oh, I hope you understand, Joe.
Why drag me into this? You could have made your confession to any police officer.
Because I could not have got it out of my system, Joe. Could not have said it, not to anybody else. It had to be you.
All right. But you don't need me anymore. I'm not here to be used as some sort of medium for your long-distance conscience. You can walk into Hartley Police Station and make your statement to the duty sergeant.
Do this for me, Joe. Final favour. You needed a helping hand way back, and I did what I could. You think you owe me something? Then you do this for me. You take me in, Joe.
I've phoned headquarters, ma'am. They've dug out the incident file.
If the coroner returned an open verdict, there'll have to be a new inquest.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Joseph. This must have been very distressing for you. Is there anything I can do to help?
Not really, ma'am, thank you. It's now simply a matter of following standard procedure.
But would you rather somebody else handled the case? I mean, an officer not personally involved.
Mr. Temple has asked if I would deal with it.
It's not up to Mr. Temple, Joseph. How do you feel about it?
I know what's required, ma'am.
Yes, I know you do.
I feel a certain obligation to the man. I would like to follow this through. What are your instructions, ma'am?
All right, Joseph, you can deal with it if you feel certain about it. But if you don't mind, I will sit in on the interview with you.
Thanks, 6122. You go to Haveling Road. Out.
What's Sergeant Begg doing this morning?
Always some police business to attend to, David.
Is he all right? Looked a bit dumpy when he came in.
Well, we can't all be full of bright and clever chatter like yourself, son. The rest of us not having been born in Celtic wonder.
I've written it all out. Everything.
Just a moment, please, Mr. Temple. Before you do anything, it's necessary to caution you. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you say may be put in writing and given in evidence. You're offering this voluntarily as your statement?
Yes, I am.
This is acceptable. Will you sign the last page, date it, and put your home address on the bottom?
I'm sorry, have you got a pen? What will I be charged with?
That'll depend on what verdict the coroner brought in on the man's death at the inquest. You'll be informed of your position when the relevant papers are to hand.
I have to remain here?
That won't be necessary.
Yes.
Mr. Temple, did you tell your wife about the accident?
No, don't want to worry her, obviously.
But surely when a man's got troubles, it's natural for him to tell his wife.
Not something like this. It wouldn't have been fair. I couldn't involve her.
She must have seen you arrive home in a state of some anxiety.
No. Marion was in bed asleep when I got back. I left before she woke.
So she had no notion that this was the reason that you left Hartford?
That's right.
Sergeant?
Will you present yourself here this afternoon?
Of course. Thank you, Joe. Sarge.
I can't stop. The baby's with a neighbour and I'm going out.
Well, I won't keep you, though.
Come in, then. I'm seeing a solicitor about a divorce.
Yeah.
What is this? What do you think you're doing?
Please, Marion, let's try to stay calm.
I thought you were dead. I thought you'd killed yourself or died somehow. I didn't know what to think. Why didn't you let me know you were all right? You didn't have to come back here now if you didn't want to. Just so that I knew you were safe.
It was unforgivable, I know.
Oh, you're strong on understatement, you are. What in God's name happened to you?
By the way, Sarge, this came for you.
But we were married. Married. Husband and wife. But don't you remember the words? In sickness and in health, you stick by one another at such a time. That's what that means.
I couldn't involve you, Mary.
Well, that says a lot for me as your wife.
Why should you be burdened with something I'd done? Something like that? No, it wouldn't have been fair.
Fair? Well, that's a strange word coming from a man who deserted his wife without notice.
Oh, going away seemed to solve so many problems. Difficulties between us. We weren't getting on. Not really, were we? You wanted children so much, I couldn't give them. I thought you might find somebody else. I didn't want to interfere with that.
You're always so white about everything, aren't you, Clive? And now you've made this return to Hartley, something nobody loves you for, over something long forgotten. What good can come of it?
You don't understand, Mary.
It's trouble on your head. What for?
I doubt if I could explain it.
And now what's going to happen?
I'm not sure. I've got to go and see the police. There'll be a court case. You won't be involved, of course. I just wanted you to hear about it from me. And to know that I'm sorry about everything.
Oh, you're such a soft fool. You always were a fool.
I won't bother you again.
You certainly look fit and well after your new life. Different man from the one I knew. Someone must be looking after you better than I knew how.
No. There's nobody.
That's a pity.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to see your Sergeant Pink.
We've now received the incident file from headquarters. The man who died was called Lawrence David Simpson. He was 72. He lived in a cottage on the moor.
Did he have a family?
Yes, he lived with his sister, apparently. She likewise is no longer with us.
I see.
There was an inquest on Mr. Simpson's death. The coroner brought in a verdict in your absence.
Is that usual?
It's not unknown. Persons involved in road accidents frequently absent themselves or decline to give evidence. The coroner brought in a verdict of accidental death.
That can't be right.
I have it here.
But look,
The circumstantial evidence was fairly definite. 3 independent witnesses saw Mr. Simpson leave a pub in Hartley blind drunk. He wasn't a young man. There were no lights on the bike and his brakes were defective. The police photographs, the measurements of skid marks, the position of the body in the bike all indicated that he was cycling on the wrong side of the road. The case is closed. They're in the clear.
no. No, that's not possible.
That is the position.
It can't be.
The coroner,
I killed the man.
The coroner decided that the fault lay with him.
But I failed to stop. I drove on, hit and run. I didn't report it. Those are very serious offences.
That's right, but there's no way you can be brought to book. Not now. Not 10 years after.
But I broke the law.
There is a 6-month limitation of time on those charges.
I don't understand.
Those particular charges have to be brought within 6 months of the incident.
So there'll be no prosecution.
You have no case to answer. The report will be submitted to divisional headquarters in the usual way. You will receive a letter in due course.
We have your home address in Somerset.
And that's the end of it. I'll go scot-free.
There's no reason to detain you. Thank you, Sergeant. Good afternoon, Mr. Temple.
10 years. I don't believe it.
Hardly worth all the bother, was it? What'll you do now? Will you stay in Hartley?
No. No. I've caused enough disruption here.
Aye.
I did what I thought was best, Joe.
I hope you find a way of putting it behind you. That I do hope.
I'm sorry about it all, Joe.
So am I.
I'll be leaving this afternoon. For good this time.
Goodbye, Clive. There's always a spare bit at my place if you should change your mind.
No, thanks, Joe. I won't be back. You take good care of yourself now. I never did get to meet Alex.
He's gone. Kissed Hartley goodbye. So that's that.
How are you, Joseph?
A bit tired.
How about a drink later tonight? I'll be here.
No, not tonight, Mum, if you don't mind.
Oh, well. George Parish is buying, you know. His eldest has done well in his mock GCEs.
You say George is buying? What, drinks? You mean alcohol?
Can you afford to miss this, Joseph? I don't think so. What happened to him way back? He spoke of personal troubles. Don't tell me if you'd rather not. I'm only being nosy.
No, he's never said about it. No one seems to know. It's a well-kept secret, Mum. Phlegmatic fellow, old Joe. Ah, well, never mind about GCEs, Mum. I only just managed my sergeant's exam.
Evening, lads.
There you are. What'll it be, Joe?
Well, seeing as you are paying, George, I'll start off with a pint of best.
You sure about the pint, are you? I mean, you wouldn't rather start off with a half and work your way up gradually?
Well, since you raised the matter, a chaser mightn't be a bad idea. Yes, could I have a large scotch to go with the pint, please?
I'll remember this.
You look a bit down in the dumps, David.
Yes, Mum.
Have a drink, David. What'll it be?
Double vodka, thanks, Sergeant.
Oh, vodka? Stuff, what's going on? I've got to fork out for a new briefcase for our Colin. He's getting big ideas now, you know.
What's up with you?
My girlfriend's giving me the push, Mum. Brett and me are, our dear Joan. She jilted me for the computer programmer.
A computer programmer? Maybe you're best out of that, David.
She didn't have the decency to face me with it, man.
Oh, put it down to experience, David. All part of life's rich tapestry.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, that's too fast.
George, here's to your Colin.
Right.
Let's hope he doesn't become a computer programmer.
Yeah. Still, you've done the right thing, David, drowning your sorrows here with us. We're always available for such occasions, aren't we, Joe?
Absolutely, George. It's time for another round, isn't it?
You see, David, the force is like a family. You turn to it in times of strife because it's always there. Don't you agree, Mom?
Oh, if you say so, George.
Well, I mean it. I'm serious. When all's said and done, your real friends are here, in the force. You do well to remember that. Don't you reckon, Joe?
Maybe so.
Folk come and go, ships passing. But your fellow coppers, son, nearly all reliables. You work with them, suffer with them, and you drink with them. Isn't that right, Joe?
Aye, George, that's right.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
Off you go then, Arthur. Remember, only cash and jewellery.
Now, you sure this place isn't wired?
Certain. It's been checked, as always. No wire, no bells, it's clean.
You'll say. Better I'd be.
Knock it off, Arthur, will you?
What?
Look, there's none of us want to finish up back inside, do we?
Yeah.
We're taking the same risk as you are.
Sure. It's me that's going in.
Yeah, you're going in, and we're keeping an eye out here. It's a team job, Arthur.
Well, just so long as all the teams on the pitch went final whistle goes. That's all.
Oh, what a bloody awful day I've had.
You sound like you need a drink.
Do I?
Scotch?
Fine.
Help yourself. Water? Ice?
Nothing, thanks.
Well, it's nice to see you. Is this a social call or something special?
Just looking for a shoulder, that's all.
Oh, dear. Is it that bad? Well, do you want to talk?
It's that clown, Francis.
What's he done?
He's trying to block Brian Keller's move to CID.
Why? You said it was agreed.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. It was agreed till our superintendent stuck his nose in.
Brian will be disappointed.
So damn frustrating, Katie. Seems my experience counts for nothing.
What's Francis got in mind in place of Brian Kelleher?
Oh, I've no idea. I couldn't be bothered listening to him.
He's new to the division. It's his first outside posting as superintendent.
He was over-promoted as a sergeant.
He'll have done his homework before he came to us.
Then he should know that I don't carry passengers in my department.
Mark, can I speak frankly, as a friend?
Of course you can. That's why I came. I needed to talk. And you're one of the few people that I can talk to and trust.
Thanks. But you know, well, you know as well as me that he can be a bit abrasive. He's probably been told he's inheriting a DCI who was aggressive, opinionated and independent. And he's obviously making a stand early on.
Well, if he proposes to make a stand over the staffing of my department, he's picked the wrong issue.
The issue's irrelevant. But you won't make him change his mind by charging him like a bull at a gate. Play it cool.
Harley Police, emergency...
There are intruders on the premises of Top Fell Hall.
Hartley to all mobiles. Alarm call. Intruders on premises, Top Fell Hall. Repeat. Intruders on premises, Top Fell Hall. Patrols acknowledge.
7499, on the way, Sarge. Position, Hillock Rise. ETA, 3 minutes.
Roger, Brian.
We're on Manchester Road, George. We'll be there in a couple of minutes.
Roger, Joe. For information, it's a silent alarm, so approach very quietly.
Don't go mad.
We might just catch him on the premises, Sarge.
It's better to be late in this world than early in the next. Take a left here. Cut your lights. It's just up here on the right, Sarge. Brian?
Just arriving, Sarge.
We're going in. There's the driveway. Going soft and gentle. Bloody hell. Come on, back to the road. Get your lights on.
What was that, Sarge?
Stay where you are, Brian, and keep your eyes open.
They're coming back. Of course they're coming back. Where's Arthur? Stuff Arthur, let's get out. Undo your blouse, ruck up your skirt, I'll do the talking.
Evening, sir, madam.
Evening, Sergeant. Seems to be a lot of activity.
Can I ask you what you're doing here, sir?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, you know.
Is this your car, sir?
No, it's a hire car, actually.
Do you have the hire documents and your driving licence if you've got it?
I've certainly got the hire documents. Don't usually carry my driving licence with me, but of course I needed to hire the car.
This is your licence, sir?
Yeah, of course, Sergeant.
You are John Thorpe?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the address is out of date. I haven't lived there for some time.
I see.
You're not going to do me for not having it changed, are you?
I shouldn't think so, sir. Who's the lady, sir?
I don't really know. Just find out.
No, it's all right. I'll speak to her in a minute. You sounded your horn?
Yeah, accidentally. We were, you know, moving about a bit. And, just went off, accidentally.
Several times?
Well, every time I tried to move, I touched it again.
Show me.
Pardon?
Show me where the horn is. Just a minute. Danny!
Judge?
Put the lady in the police car.
Would you come with me, please, madam?
All right, where is it? I see. I think we'd better be talking at the police station, Mr. Thorpe. It's only a short distance.
Why? You're not arresting us. We haven't done anything.
There's a couple of points to clear up.
Oh, no. We're not going.
You don't have the choice, sir.
You're arresting us?
We'll talk about it at the station.
No, I want to know now. I'm entitled.
You're refusing to come voluntarily?
Yes, I am.
All right. The driving licence you showed me isn't yours. I suspect it might be stolen. The house down there's just been broken into. I suspect you might have some connection with that offence. You don't have to say anything, and anything you say may be taken down and given in evidence.
I don't know
I'm not
anything.
going to argue with you out here. Now turn round and get your hands on the car.
This is ridiculous.
You better lock the car, sir. Danny, put the lady in the back seat and get in with her.
Right. In the back.
I'll give her the keys, sir. This way.
You hang on outside. Keep a lookout. I'll go in. I'll get the front door open as soon as I can find it, okay?
Right.
Hey! Come here! $7,499 to Hartley.
There's Joe Beck, George Parrish. I thought you rated them.
I do. They're both good sergeants in their own way. But I wouldn't recommend either of them as a potential crime prevention officer.
Why not?
All that public speaking, for a start. It's not their scene. Anyway, I want one of them promoting inspector before long.
Well, they might appreciate getting off shifts. The hours are regular.
All right. I'll sound them out if you like.
If you would, quietly. I'll have a vacancy in a couple of months, and I'd like to find someone in this division.
Roger, Brian. Yeah, only a few minutes ago, Mick. So get them there as soon as you can. Go and check. Oh, Jim, it's George Parrish. Yeah, we just had a burglary at Topfell Hall. Aye, that's it. We got two, but one got away on a racing bike. Last seen headed in your direction. Put it out to your lads, will you?
Yeah, George.
Hang on a minute. Roger, Joe. Go and get my handbill.
Right, Sarge.
Yeah, no description as yet. We'll get back to you. Jim, have you got a policewoman you could lend us? Well, none at all. Well, you can never find one when you want one. Cheers, Jim.
Now, about my CID at Hartley.
The office don't know I'm here, so it's not for me.
Six 68314? Yes, George? Well, isn't there a policewoman on anywhere in the division? All right, I'll be there in 15 minutes.
You got a doorbell?
Inspector's office.
Right,
Leave the
sir.
door open.
Yeah.
Interview room.
7499 to Hartley.
You sure you don't want me to come along? Sounds more like a CID job to me.
It always sounds like a CID job to you when the uniform have already made the lockup. No, Mark. They've only called me in because there's a woman involved and they can't find a policewoman. Why don't you hang on here till I get back?
Yes. Okay.
I shouldn't be long. I'll give you a ring if I think we're going to be held up. Or if I think we need any help. See you shortly.
Right. That's the late night viewing on BBC Two. But now on One, it's...
Right, come on then. Come on, love, talk to me. What's her name?
I've no idea, Sarge. Not said a word since we picked her up.
Tell me about yourself, love. What's your name? What's wrong, love? Are you frightened? Is that what it is? There's no need to be frightened. Nobody here's going to do you any harm.
Now, first...
First, you can tell me what's going on.
You tell me what you think's going on. You're not being brought in for fun, you know.
I've no idea why I've been brought in here.
I'm sure you must have some idea.
I've no idea.
Well, I better go and find out then. List his property and get his details. Empty your pockets on the table. Joe. What have we got?
He gave us that when we first checked him.
From the driver number, this was issued to a lad of 19.
That's only for starters.
The woman?
She's not said a word, nothing.
Call CID.
Have you fixed a policewoman?
I couldn't find one in the whole division. I called the boss.
Well, that settles the question about CID then, doesn't it?
Is he there again?
We went past her house. His car was parked outside.
Are you spying on our leader, Joe?
It's just routine patrol in a high-crime area, George.
What they're up to doesn't constitute a crime.
It would be if we didn't get to know about it. Can't the police? Yes, Brian. Yeah, that's right. Yes, she has. Okay. The householder's back at Topfell Hall. Brian's asking if the woman we've got in's wearing a red coat. When I said she was, he just said good.
Evening, Mom.
Evening.
Evening, Mum.
You still here, George?
Well, I thought I'd see it through, Mom, if that's all right.
Of course. Well, what have you got?
You can't just sit there and say nothing, can you, love? Look, there'll be a policewoman here soon. They can get a bit stroppy, you know. You'd be better talking to me, get it sorted. At least tell me who you are, love. Here. Come on, we're not here to play games, are we?
Personally, I think the woman's the key to it. As I said, she's not the criminal type. I think she's scared. She's already had a bit of a week. She's been pressured into it. If you can get her talking, she'll blow the lot.
But she's saying nothing?
Not a single word, no.
Oh, we need to know more about them before we can get much further. I'll see what I can do.
Evening, Mum.
Evening.
What's all the mystery on the phone then, Brian?
That's what Mr. Fothergill, the householder at Topfell, said.
Oh, go on.
A couple of days ago, he had a letter through the post.
Well, that's pretty unusual for starters.
Go on, Brian.
Inside it, there was a theatre ticket for tonight. Nothing else. He assumed it was some sort of promotion. Anyway, he went.
Leaving the house empty?
Aye. Now, next to him in the theatre was this woman in a red coat, blonde hair.
That sounds like the woman in your office.
Right.
Now, during the first act, she kept whispering to him.
Nice.
She seemed to know about him and about where he lived, but he says he's never met her in his life before. At the first interval, she went out, never came back.
Was she on her own?
Well, he didn't see anybody with her.
Would he know her again?
Doubtful. It was pretty dark.
Well done, Brian. You got a full step.
Oh, yes, Mum.
I think our lady has some questions to answer.
I still don't think she's the type.
We'll see.
I just find it a bit strange, that's all. Come on.
Anything? Nothing. Hello. I'm Inspector Longton. Kate Longton. What's your name? Let's get one thing clear. I want to know all about you and where you've been tonight. You can start whenever you're ready.
Anything here to say who he is?
No, Sarge.
I've told you who I am.
Those were in the pocket of his anorak, Sarge.
It is yours. It's not a knockoff.
Of course it's mine.
And these?
Yeah, they're mine.
What are they for?
For my guts. I've got an ulcer.
I'm not surprised you deserve an ulcer.
What's that supposed to mean?
Ulcers are caused through stress, you know. Worry and stress. Like the stress of breaking into houses and the worry about being caught. How about it, then? Tell us who you are and we can start from there and you can forget the Thorpe nonsense.
It's not nonsense. That's my name.
Joe. DCI's here.
Don't aggravate that ulcer by sitting there worrying. Just sort your thoughts out for when I come back.
Just passing, Joe. Called in to see if anything was doing. George tells me you've locked up for a burglary.
Your handbag. And empty. Totally empty. Well, almost. Been to a show tonight, have we? Stand up. Show me your hands. Take your gloves off. Walk up and down. Go on. Take your coat off. And your jacket. Now the blouse. It's all right, Danny. No wonder you wouldn't talk to me.
So, no matter what this guy says, he's going to be charged with something of the driving licence.
Oh,
then?
yeah. He's not going anywhere till that's sorted.
Self, Danny.
Oh. If you don't mind me saying so, Mom, I prefer them with a bit more bust.
Didn't look very scared to me, Joe. Not really the criminal type. Pressured into it.
I'll get that, Brian.
Who's supposed to be scared? Or pressured?
Oh, it's just a theory Joe had, sir. I'll go and give Danny a hand.
I didn't expect you. We didn't ask for CID.
Oh, I was just passing. Called in to see if anything was doing.
I said I'd ring you if we needed any help.
I got lonely.
Frightened of missing something more like.
Yes, thanks very much. Well, well, well. Our escapee, the third man, guess who?
Harry Lyme.
Albert Arthur Steadwell, none other.
Oh.
Easy, Arthur.
He's been locked up for trying to steal a car. He still had the bike with him from Topfell Hall.
How do they know it's the bike from there?
There was a name and address on the label on the saddlebag.
Even CID could follow a clue like that.
Where is he locked up, Joe?
K Division.
He can be brought back here?
No, not really. The night inspector's not happy to hand him over unless we've got enough to charge him with.
Where's the bike?
He's saying he found it at the side of the road.
Well, you just have to go there and interview him.
But that's what they do in tape recording of interviews, Mum.
I know.
Not me, if you don't
No,
mind.
no, me, Mum.
Why not?
I've heard myself on tape. I sound a right pillock, if you'll excuse the expression, Mum.
Yeah, same here. You say all kinds of things in an interview. In the cold light of day, they sound stupid. I don't want everybody having a big laugh at my expense.
You're both wrong. Tape recording of interviews works.
You've tried it?
Not personally.
Well, I saw that training video. I'd like to give it a try.
Well, if it'll help, I'm willing to go across with whoever's going. To give a hand?
Well, if you and Mr. Perry want to rush headlong into the technological age, me and George will have a go at the two we've got here.
Thank you, Joe. Nice to hear you volunteer for something. Give K Division a ring. Tell them I'm on my way.
Right, Mum.
Oh, and the DCI is coming with me.
It takes two.
They got no chance of getting a cough from Arthur Steadwell. With one of those machines going. I'll take Brian Kelleher and have a go at Thorpe, or whatever his name is. Brian! Hey, mind you don't scare that sweet creature in the cell. She's not really the criminal type. We're going to have a go at Thorpe.
Right, Sarge.
Bill, Danny Sparks in the cells with a prisoner. Tell him to come and see me, and you take the prisoner through to the inspector's office.
Right, Sarge.
Yes, hello, it's Joe Beckett Hartley. Could you tell your inspector that our Inspector Longton and the DCI are on the way over to see Arthur Steadwell? Yes, thanks very much. Has he said anything?
No, just asking for some ordinary clothes, that's all.
Come on, we're going to crack this one.
Right.
I'll start off with some gentle chat. If you see me going hard, come in soft when I give you the nod. If you see me playing it soft, you come in hard. Give him aggro about the women's clothes, that's all.
Right.
All right?
Whose is this? It's mine. I didn't ask if it was yours, did I? I know it's not yours. Whose is it?
I told you, it's mine.
You tell lies.
You calling me a liar?
I am. Not only that, Sunshine. Not only are you a liar, you're a very poor one. Now, I want the truth. And I want it now. Otherwise, you and me are going to be here for a very long time. Let me tell you this. You will tell me the truth. Because that's what you want to do. Isn't it?
No.
Oh, but you do. Deep down inside, you want to tell me everything. Because at the present, I'm the only person in the whole wide world that you can talk to. And you can start with who you are and where you're from.
It's not the first time, is it? You've worn those clothes before. And it's not the first time that you and him have played courting couples while keeping lookout on a burglary, and that's what you were doing tonight, isn't it?
I tell you, it was for a bet.
You're saying you got dressed up like that for a bet? Must have been a big un.
I told you, a £5.
A £5? I wouldn't go out dressed like that for a gold pig.
Of course, you're an authority on pigs.
And what kind of a tale's that? You've come north today, looking for work? You live in a lodging house in London, but you can't remember where it is. How are you going to get back there?
I can find it all right. It's in Earl's Court, but I can't remember the address.
No, you'll have to do better than that.
I've only been here a couple of weeks. Hang on, just a minute. Yeah. That's the telephone number. I wrote it down off the evening paper when I first went round there.
Check it, Brian.
Okay, Sarge.
So what are you doing up north?
Looking for work. Like I said.
Without luggage? Just what you stand up in?
That's the truth. I did it for a bet.
Just stop there. Forget the fairy stories about bets. What you been up to tonight?
Like I said, I went in the pub. That's what the bet was. It was, Sergeant. On my mother's grave, that's what it was.
Go on.
This guy came in the pub. The guy I was in the car with. Well, he started chatting me up. I thought it would be a bit of a giggle, so I went along with him. He bought me a couple of drinks and asked me to go to a show with him. I thought, why not?
Why not, indeed? Go on.
I just thought I'd see how long I could keep it up, you know.
What happened to the show?
It was pretty rubbishy, so we walked out. He said we'd go for a meal, but he didn't. He drove down that lane where you found us. It's a good thing you came along when you did. He was getting a bit, you know, we're just going to hit him.
What's his name?
John, so he said.
What's your name?
Leave it out. I've done nothing wrong.
All the more reason why you should tell us who you are, then.
And let it get round about the dressing up? You must be joking.
Waste of time, this, Sarge. Bang him in the cells for a night, let CID loose on him in the morning.
You can't keep me. I've done nothing.
Done nothing?
You were the lookout for the burglary where we found you tonight. Now you're trying to lie your way out of what you've done. Yeah, well, what do you expect of a bloke who enjoys wearing women's clothes? You make me sick, you, but I'll have you.
Danny, that's enough.
Listen, Sarge, you might be putting up with this, but I'm not. I'm going to see the boss and something will be done. I'll get the press on it.
What's up with him?
He's young, sees only black and white.
What the press got to do with it?
I suppose he's gone to tell them so they can have a photographer outside for when you leave.
Like this?
That's how you came in. Still, I don't think the boss would have that.
Can I see the boss?
Well, you're better off talking to me. I mean, I won't promise, but I'll do what I can. You see, I can't do much without... Look, you're in a spot. You're really up against it, aren't you? You've got a choice. Either face up to it on your own, or...
Or what?
Or get help. That young lad who just went out, he's a right little troublemaker. He'll drop me in it as well as you. The only way we can sort this is if we stick together.
Together?
I'll help you if you'll help me. Tell me what really happened tonight.
I've had a word with the boss, Sarge.
You don't want to know, so get out.
Sergeant, the boss said...
Constable, I won't tell you again! You see what we're up against?
Well, no one can hear the screams from in here. They just go one either side, don't they?
When the suspect comes in and the formalities.
Come in, Arthur.
If you'll just get it quick, it's only a little thing. What do you want now, then, Mr. Perrin?
Sit down, Arthur. How's the chest?
Oh, much the same, you know. Good days. What do you want?
This is Inspector Longton. We want to have a little chat. It'll all be on the tape. You've seen it before.
They used it when they brought me in, aye.
See? Still see.
Hey, hang on. I don't know what you want to talk about, but I'm not saying out into that defo.
I thought you said they used it before.
Oh, well, they did. But I was banged to rights for that. Well, I've done it, I admit it, but I've done no else. So, I said, no way. You're not done. You must think I'm simple. I've heard all about Nixon and Watergate, what they made them take. You're trying to set me up. I've only got to clear me throat, say, how do you do? You'll have me clearing books for all county, give over. I've admitted what I've done, finish.
Look, Arthur, we just want to talk to you, ask you a few questions.
Come in.
Oh, aye, that's it. Da.
As I was saying, Arthur.
And this? What about this?
All right. I admit it's not my licence. I went in the gents on a station in Manchester, and there it was, lying on the floor. I picked it up. I thought to myself, I'll hand this in at the police station. That's exactly what I'd done.
After you'd used it to hire the car.
Yeah, well, I needed the car, so I had to use the licence, didn't I?
All unplanned.
Yeah.
Not like the break-in tonight.
Why do you keep going on about that? I don't know anything about it. How many more times do I have to say it?
What were you doing parked in the lane?
What are fellas usually doing parked up with women in lanes? Oh, use your imagination.
That's just what I am doing. Trying to imagine. What you were doing with a man dressed in woman's clothes.
You what?
You heard.
What, in drag? You do me a favour.
Ah, you don't expect me to believe you didn't know.
Of course I didn't know.
Oh, you must have done. It's obvious. You may as well admit that at least.
If it's so obvious, why did your mate ask for a policewoman to be arranged? I heard him on the radio. If you guys can't tell a difference, how do you expect me to? You're the experts.
You do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so, but anything you do say may be given in evidence.
Oh.
Sure you don't want to use that inhaler before we start?
No, I'm not due yet.
OK. We want to talk to you about a burglary at a country house.
No, not me. Never. I've never done no burglaries.
You sure you're all right?
Oh, I'm all right, yeah. Come on, let's get it over with. I know not about any burglaries or country houses. Right, that's it.
No! We want to ask you some more questions.
Oh, well, come on, then.
We'll get to the truth, you know, with or without your help.
There is a John Thorpe living there, but he's not at home.
There you are.
Description? Oh, I didn't get a chance before they slammed the phone down. I passed it on to the Met to follow up.
Now you're satisfied? You know who I am and where I'm from.
Well, that leaves just one question, then.
Come on, then, let's have it.
Well, I'm sure there's a very simple answer, but I've got to admit it's got me beaten. How do they know you in London as John Thorpe if you only found the licence in Manchester this morning?
You had a bike with you when you were picked up.
No, you see, I didn't.
Don't be stupid. The policeman who lifted you told us they saw it.
I didn't have a bike with me.
OK, there was a bike nearby.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, where did you get it from?
I found it.
Where?
Well, I don't know, I just found it.
Oh, yeah, let's remember roughly where or when.
It was weeks ago. In a ditch side of the road somewhere.
Oh, you don't change, do you, Arthur? Huh? All the years I've known you, you've always been a liar, and you still are. A liar and a thief just about sums you up. You nicked that bike, and you're going to tell us all about it.
Oh, well, if you think that, go on, charge me.
I'll decide when you're charged, but rest assured, when the time comes, it'll be for something more than nicking a bike.
Oh, for the last time, I have not stolen a bike.
The bike was stolen at the same time the house was broken into. It's down to you, Arthur.
No, not me. Anyway, I'll be nowhere near Hartley tonight.
Why did you say Hartley, Arthur?
What?
And why do you say tonight?
It was her, she said it.
No, I didn't.
She did? She said it were a country house near Hartley. It were done tonight.
Give up, Arthur. Nobody mentioned either Hartley or tonight. All that was said was a burglary at a country house.
No, it were you. You told me.
You can't argue with that, my son. It's all on there, as clear as day. You can't wriggle out of this one.
Oh.
We're charging you with a burglary, but first you're going to tell us about your two mates we've locked up as well. Don't start that, Arthur. It won't work. He's putting it on. He always does when the chips are down.
Well, I'm not taking that risk. Get an ambulance. Quick! Come on, don't try and talk to me. Just relax.
Constable!
Go on.
There's a room for an ambulance.
Take it easy.
Wheezing Arthur is having one of his convenient attacks.
Yeah, I know it is, Peter. Just because you've been tempted in the past, people think you're a criminal. We're all tempted from time to time. I know I am. It's just that I've been lucky. Temptations never come at a time when I was most susceptible. If it had, who knows? Could have been me sitting there and you sitting here. But there it is, just fate. And fate's been pretty cruel to you, hasn't it? You've not had much of a chance. But now, Peter, now you have a chance to wipe the slate clean, get this sorted, and make a fresh start.
You want me to admit something I haven't done. You tell me what to say and I will.
Now, that's not fair, is it? I thought we understood each other. I'm not going to con you, and I don't want you to try and con me.
What about?
Oh, the fellas you were with? Don't you worry about them. You look after yourself. They got you into this. It's up to you to get yourself out. Don't you worry about Arthur Steadwell. Oh, yes, Peter. Arthur's locked up as well. He'll just be putting in his twopenneth, telling his version of how the job was set up, whose idea it was, and so on and so on. And you can rest assured that when he's finished, the one who comes out shining bright will be Albert Arthur Steadwell while everybody else goes down the pan. Anyway, you think on it. Bill?
Yes, Sarge?
Come in here a minute, will you?
Right, Sarge.
I shan't be long, Peter. I'll just go and find out what that little creep's been telling the boss. Don't you worry about it. I can sort it. Tom, relieve Sergeant Parrish and Brian Keller in the interview room for a minute, will you?
Right, Sarge.
He was putting it on, you know. He's got form for it.
That's as may be, but he convinced me. Anyone listening to the tape will accept that what you did could well bring on a genuine attack.
Why me?
Being hard has become a way of life with you, hasn't it? You don't even know when you're doing it.
Was being hard. Being firm, letting him know where he stood. You can't afford to be soft with his kind.
You'll never make a living as a flycatcher.
By the way, well done, Danny. You did just right. Just the lever I needed to get under Dobson's ribs. He'll come across before long. Yeah. I've just come out for a few minutes to give him time to reflect on his sins.
What's he saying?
He's Peter Dobson. According to PNC, he's got a couple for burglary. He's been inside twice. He says he lives in a squat in South London. It's probably a load of tripe, but he's coming over bit by bit. What have you got?
That guy wouldn't know the truth if it jumped up and bit him. We finally got a cough. He's not John Thorpe. The second address he gave us doesn't exist, and we're just waiting for a check on the third. He just tells lies all the time. Tip him up on one and he tells another. So it goes on.
Any word from the dynamic duo?
Nothing at all. If they'd had any success, we'd have heard by now.
The old tried and trusted methods may triumph after all.
We could always charge whatever he's called with theft, alternative handling the licence, and bang him in the cells.
Well, I'll find out the real John Thorpe's a mate of his. Lent him the licence.
The check on the address on that licence says that John Thorpe's away at university.
Oh, aye. Yeah, but he's never said that the real John Thorpe's a mate of his.
He's not in court yet, is he?
No, that's true. I'll get it.
Do you want me back in there with you, Sarge?
In a minute, you go back in there and ruffle his feathers a bit. I'll follow behind shortly, pull rank on you, and order you out. That should just about do the trick. He'll cough the lot.
And if he doesn't?
Have confidence in our ability, will you?
It's not confidence I'm lacking, it's evidence.
That was Bill, Sarge. Dobson's been talking to him.
I knew he was on the point of coughing.
No, Sarge. Dobson says he won't answer any more questions till he's seen a solicitor. And he's demanding his rights to make a phone call.
Oops. Well, hard luck for him.
Well, Brian, we better go back for another session of the Arabian Nights.
Thought you'd gone home.
Sit down. Nobody's going anywhere for a while yet.
Interesting notice, that. I can have somebody told I've been nicked.
When I say so.
I want you to tell Mr. Pringle on 01 246 8211.
Who's that?
My solicitor.
All in good time. We haven't checked that last name and address yet.
Now, look, Sergeant, I know my rights. You're not dealing with a first-timer, you know. It is now 2:03 a.m. and I am making a formal request to speak to my solicitor.
Between you, relieve Sergeant Speck and Parish and ask them to come through for a conference.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, any joy, Steadwell, Mum?
Not so as you'd noticed, Danny.
Tea, Mum, sir?
Oh,
Please. Sergeant Beck thinks he's got Dobson about to talk.
It'll be the first break we've had if he does. Well, Joe?
He's being a bit difficult now, insisting on a solicitor.
Oh, well, I thought you got him going, Sergeant. I thought he was on the point of a cough.
Well, he must have changed his mind then, mustn't he? Any joy with Steadwell?
No, he put on one of his asthma attacks.
He always does that when he gets in a tight corner.
He's not a total loss. Apart from the bag, he's the only one who actually got inside. So there's always a chance of something from forensic or scenes of crime. Now, what we're really short of is something to connect Steadwell with the other two. Well, what have you got?
There is the driving licence.
Big deal.
We've no job there until we can trace the real John.
They're lying through the teeth, though, aren't they?
Charge him with it, shall we? Telling lies to a police officer?
Make that a criminal offence. The prisons really would have a problem with overcrowding.
Yeah, we're not just going to let him go.
Danny, come here. You know they've done it. I know they've done it. Even they know they've done it. But we can't prove they've done it. And what's more, they know we can't prove they've done it.
So what we need is a straight admission from one of them or something to connect our two with Steadwell.
Thank you, Danny. That puts it in a nutshell. Gets us precisely nowhere.
There's the messages they want to send him, the solicitors they want to contact him. We can't stall much longer. They're all about these two. They know their rights.
We could bail him, Section 43.
Pending further inquiries. Yeah, I suppose that is one way round it.
Bring him back in 4 or 5 days. By then, we'll have got some more from Steadwell and a statement from the owner of the driving licence.
Yeah, that's true.
So we bail him.
Oh, no, we don't. Pending further inquiries, they can wait in the cells. Joe, you and Danny deal with Dobson. Let him send any messages he wants within reason.
Right now.
George, you ring that number that your man gave you. Brian, you get him ready for the cells. I'll come and see him before you put him down. I've not seen him yet.
Taking a chance. I think bailing him Section 43 is a better idea.
Look, Mark. The Bail Act lays down that responsibility for granting or refusing bail lies with, and I quote, the officer in charge of the police station. I am refusing to grant them bail, and I will accept the consequences.
Here, check this. One blue ballpoint pen, comb, cigarettes, matches, personal papers, £23.20 cash.
This is your jacket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Put it on. Not a very good fit.
Envelope containing 3 unidentified yellow capsules.
Are these yours?
Yeah.
They were in that jacket pocket when he was brought in, sir.
What are they for?
For my stomach. I've got an ulcer.
Take them often, do you?
Only when it hurts.
I'm not surprised you've got an ulcer if you've been taking these. They're for asthma. You don't take them. You inhale them. Stop.
They're Arthur Steadwell's capsules, and so's that jacket. I think you better tell the sergeant how they come to be in your car, and why you said they belonged to you. I'll leave it with you, George.
Right.
Cracked it.
Success brings its own rewards.
Eh?
I thought earlier tonight you were never going to smile again.